This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane, Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by HialeahParkCasino.com. Enjoy simulcast racing, dining, a magnificent poker room, and a casino with the most popular machines on the market. OKCoin.com. Download the app on iOS, Google Play, or Windows. OKCoin.com with over 50 different coins and incredible staking rewards. Pallet Rack City. There's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are doing well on a beautiful Tuesday. Yes, sir. Plenty of things to talk about. A lot of good news going on in South Florida sports. Let me tweak my headset there and raise it a little bit. So we are doing well. Looking forward to a nice day today. I'm actually going to go tonight to go see a little FIU baseball, actually. Tonight. I'm going to hang out a little bit over at FIU. Looking forward to that. See a little baseball, because we don't have the Marlins. So we're going to see, we're going to go see FIU. Yes. We're looking forward to it. So I did like a little Hispanic Asian in there, right? Something like that, right? There was like a little bit of both there, right? Anyway, so we're going to do a little baseball tonight, have some fun. Saturday, we got another show. I mean, Sean Stanley tells me, listen, we don't work enough. Okay? I mean, I'm on during the day. I'm on at night doing wrestling. What am I going to do? Sit around all weekend? What the hell's wrong with you, Get us some work. And so that's what we did. And so Sean wants to work. We work. I mean, I don't know. The man's a workaholic. I can't do anything about it. He's unhinged. So he's happy. We are now working on Saturday, 2 Saturdays in a row now. We are going to be out at Smokin' in Pompano. So if you want to join us out there at 4640 North Powerline Road. And for the second time in the show's history, we're going to whip out the tent. We got the big, beautiful, Big O show tent, baby. Yeah. So we're going to have the tent right outside there, Smokin'. And we're going to be all set up, Sean and myself. We'll start the broadcast around 1 o'clock. We'll probably go for about a couple of hours, probably 1 to 3. The event is 1 to 5. We'll be out there hanging out for a while. And they're going to have all kinds of cigar specials. Nick Perdomo is going to be there. Billy Perdomo is going to be there. Maybe even Nick Jr. shows up. I don't know. But, I mean, there's going to be all kinds of great cigar specials. You got a chance to meet the star that is Nick Perdomo. We'll be out there hanging out. So if you're in the Pompano area or if you're free on Saturday afternoon and you want to come by and hang out with us and say hi, take a picture, whatever it is, come on out to the Smokin' in Pompano, 4640 North Powerline Road. So there you go. All right. If I'm correct, Friday we're at Acura, right, Sean? So Thursday we're at Hialeah Park. Friday we're at Acura Pembroke Pines. And Saturday we're at Smokin' in Pompano. So 3 appearances this week for the show. How about that? And remember, the big appearance, Las Vegas, baby. NFL Draft, Tommy Rockers. We're going to dominate there for 3 straight days. That's going to be the home for Miami Dolphin fans. So when you want to get away from the craziness and you want to hang out with the rest of us Dolphin fans, you go to Tommy Rockers. We're going to be covering the draft for 3 days there, Dolphin style. So you don't need to watch any of the other networks. And we're going to have all kinds of insiders, locally, nationally, everything. So we're going to have it going on, and several other contributors throughout also are going to help us here on the program to be a part of the broadcast. So there you go. All right. I love it. So appreciate all of you out there as always, man. So we got a lot of things, going on the show. Before I get into the craziness of sports and everything going on, we spoke yesterday, and our thoughts and prayers to all the great people in Iowa who went through the tornado, unfortunately, in Des Moines. And then we hear about, the shooting in the high school where one was dead and multiple shot. And again, our thoughts and prayers to the folks out there in Iowa, man, going through a rough one, man. Man, just back to back here and dealing with those situations. So a lot of things to talk about. Remember, if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, it is always ready for you at 855-912-1056 whenever you're listening to the podcast, watching it on YouTube anytime, day or night. You can always use the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056 during the show also, because I know that the chat board can get really cluttered. We're approaching already 200 now on the chat board, so it grows, and there's a lot of people on it, so it's hard to get all the comments in there. And obviously, we're at a point now where we can't even see all the comments now and read all the comments. It's just way too many that are coming in on a consistent basis. So different ways. You can do it on Twitter at Big O Show. We've got the Twitter page right up, and we can see it. We've got the text line open, the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. And, a guy like Calvin Ridley, you might need Welt and Rayom. Just saying. So if you got some issues, call Welt and Rayom. Condo damage, there's a lot of that going on. Call Welt and Rayom. Personal injury, call Welt and Rayom. Business owner claims, call Welt and Rayom. See what I'm saying? So the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. Now, if you want to call Welt and Rayom themselves because you need their services, 954-966-4646. All right? So call Jeff and Daniel. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you, man. All right? Let's see. Gilbert Martinez says, Big O, do you think Adams comes to Miami? I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no idea at this point in time. Greg Jansen says, thank you for thinking of us here in Iowa, Big O. Well, I think of all Americans, man. We're all one. I don't care where you guys are at. We're all one. And when you're suffering, we're suffering. And it's rough to see what the folks in Iowa have gone through here over the last couple of days, man. It's just not fair, right? And life isn't fair. It's one of those things you have to sometimes explain to your kids, and they look at you like the RCA dog, and they don't get it and all that. And after life kicks you in the ass many, many times, you figure out. I mean, look at Ukrainians. Life is certainly not fair, dude. One day you're sitting in your home, you're happy, you're free, you're democratic, you're trying to become part of the rest of the free world. And then here comes some tyrant from the West to just upend you, possibly kill the males in your family, and the females and the kids have to run to other countries. The things that life does to us is just, it's brutal, man. We have to be mentally tough to overcome so many things in life. And, when I watch what's gone on the last couple of days in Iowa, and I watch across the world what's going on in Ukraine, and God bless you, Poland. God bless you, Poland. Wow. I never thought of Poland. You know what I mean? It's just another country in the world, but there's a special place in my heart now for Poland, because what they've done for Ukrainians is just absolutely, that's humanity, folks. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line. All right, the other thing that we got to talk about, let's get into some of the good news here on the show. That's why you tune in, is for some of the good news. Mike Gesicki gets tagged. Oladipo has an absolute beautiful outing, and it looks like the Panthers have to work on their offense. I'm joking. Relax. They won 6-1. Okay. But a really good night last night. It was one of those things where everywhere you looked, there's something good going on in South Florida sports. And then this morning you wake up to the news that Mike Gesicki is signed or not signed, but tagged. And as Omar Kelly predicted, he could challenge this as a receiver. Remember, I don't know, it was a month ago, 6 weeks ago, or 7 weeks ago. I don't know when the hell it was. We'll ask Omar Kelly. He'll be on at 12:15. But he was on the show, and he wrote an article in the Sun Sentinel that talked exactly about this, that Gesicki played so much as a wide receiver that he could challenge the tag and make it a wide receiver tag. We'll see. I doubt that. But we'll see what ends up happening there with all of it. But this is the only way you can handle this, is by tagging him. You had to do that. But let's go over a couple things. First of all, let's start off with, I think, what was the biggest story so far, and that's Oladipo. All right. Yes, the other ones are good, but the Oladipo one last night was just awesome. It was awesome to watch. It was when we talk about overcoming how life is unfair, and Oladipo for 3 years is just injury riddled, and it messes with you, and after the game, he talked about how you start to question yourself. You know what I'm saying? Which makes all the sense in the world, that you would question yourself as your body continues to break down, and it's one injury after another. And as all of you know, because I'm not enlightening most of you on this, most of you know this, sometimes people, they get injuries and then they're overcompensating for those injuries, and it creates other injuries. I believe that's what happened to Jake Long's career, that after he got the first one for no reason at all, that ended up becoming a domino effect, and it ruined his career. He was never the same player ever again after that injury, because it was a series of injuries after that. And it's probably because he never really got healthy and never, ever got to the point where he could play healthy and not have to overcompensate for something that isn't 100%. Maybe they've gotten to that point with Victor Oladipo. Maybe they got to the point, because he looked pretty confident yesterday. It started a little shaky the first couple of drives. Didn't go well for him. He kind of had to get his bearings. And then as the minutes wore on, which, by the way, he only played 15 minutes because that's what his limit is at this moment. But as he played more minutes, he got more comfortable. He got more comfortable in juking guys and trying to make cuts left and right. So he felt good about his legs. The dunk was amazing. The first play the man makes, he takes a charge. He takes a charge. He's an injury-prone player. He's taking a charge. You got to feel good about your body to sell out. He took 2 charges in that game last night. He had assists. He hit 3-pointers. He had that no-look assist in the middle of the lane was a beautiful pass. So all of a sudden, you started to see a guy that in a very short 15-minute window, he blossomed. Now, we all know we got to temper our attitudes. We got to temper not our enthusiasm. And we got to see how he recovers from this, and he continues. And can he continue playing with confidence? Because that's the key. The key is not so much Oladipo coming back healthy, that he comes back healthy with confidence in his body, because then that will allow him to play the way he needs to play. He needs to be Victor Oladipo. And if he's able to do that, ladies and gentlemen, that's a beautiful thing. You just added an all-star caliber player at the end of the freaking season. Are you kidding me? And not only did you add an all-star caliber player, you added a fresh all-star caliber player. He hasn't played a ton of basketball in 3 years. His body isn't beat up like what age is he, 27, 28, or whatever it is? He's not beaten up like a regular 27, 28-year-old, whatever the hell he is. So now you're talking about a young man that doesn't have that mileage on him. So the question is, has he overcome the injuries? Knee, calf, whatever. And is he confident? And he looked confident by the end of that night, last night. He was able to do everything because I saw him in the past go up in the air and he was timid. You could tell he wasn't himself. You can tell he wasn't confident. Last night, I did not see any lack of confidence whatsoever. Defensively in the air, defensively on the ground, taking charge, going at the basket, trying to score, dishing, shooting. I saw no hesitation. I saw a guy trying to juke people. So he had confidence in his lateral movements. So he has confidence in the base of his legs, that his knees and his calves and all that and everything is solid. And that's the important part, that the Heat worked on him physically and then worked on him mentally. And then to his credit, you also have to be tough enough mentally to overcome 3 years of failure. And your body just keeps failing on you and failing on you. And you wonder, well, wait a minute, dude, am I ever going to be able to be healthy again? Will my body ever allow me to be the player I used to be? Last night was fun, dude. And it was great to see the emotion from the players on the sidelines. Every one of them knows what it means to him because it means to them the same thing. And they know that if basketball was taken from them in the prime of their careers, they would be devastated. So they know what Victor's going through. And then the crowd in the arena last night was awesome. By the way, great rendition of the national anthem. I like that, dude. That was good. It was simple, two-piece band. That was nice, by the way. A little side note. But anyway, the crowd was so into it. And it was just one of those things. You felt it on social media from people, like they were really looking forward. We were looking forward to Oladipo more than the Heat last night because we know how good the Heat is. And holy shit, you're going to give me a healthy Oladipo too on top of everything? Now look out, because you got a nasty defensive squad when you start putting Depot out there. And I know some of the young guys played less minutes, and that's going to be kind of part of the game, unfortunately. What are you going to do? You got a healthy all-star caliber player. You're going to keep him on the bench? Hell no, dude. You got control of all the other young guys, so it's all right. You'll figure out a way to keep them. But man, that was fun last night, and that was one of those moments that you, like I said last night on Twitter, and I think I said it on the show, if you get a healthy Oladipo and a confident Oladipo, Miami is clearly the best team in the Eastern Conference. Clearly the best team in the Eastern Conference. Better than Milwaukee. They were already better than the Nets without Depot. Okay? They're already better than the Sixers without Depot. You add Depot, forget it. Forget it. That nobody has the defensive squad that the Miami Heat have in the Eastern Conference. No one. No one is deeper than the Miami Heat. So I'm sorry if I'm Mr. Cocky Heat fan right now, but I'm Mr. Cocky Heat fan right now. And as I've been telling Ira, I'm not concerned about the Nets and the Sixers. I get it. They're really good and they can win. I get it. But I think Miami is better and Miami should beat them. And Milwaukee would be the challenge. You give me a healthy Depot, I feel good going over Milwaukee too. Let's just hope that, they don't get the same break they got, in other ways. So let's, or bad breaks, like injuries in the bubble 2 years ago. Let's just hope stuff like that doesn't happen to the Heat. But last night, man, was all about Oladipo, and that was awesome. Gilbert Martinez, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you giving us some love on the Super Chat. I'm very happy they tagged him. Yes, on Gesicki. I agree with you, sir. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Let's talk a little bit about Mike Gesicki. getting the tag. Cameron Wolfe will be joining us here at the bottom of the hour. It was the right move to make. You had to make it. Gesicki is a guy that brings a dimension to the table that is not easy to find. It's not easy to teach, to be quite honest with you. This is a guy that can catch the ball in traffic with two hands, with one hand. He is a mismatch out there. And we'll have Omar on at 12:15, and I know he'll complain about Gesicki and his lack of blocking, and I don't care about that. Okay? As I've told Omar many times on the show, there's a handful of guys that can do what he wants. When you find one of those, great. Bring him on. Bring me a Mark Bavaro and bring me a Jason Witten and a George Kittle, and I'll be happy. I'm glad you found a rock-solid two-way stud. But meanwhile, while you don't have it, I'll take Brent Jones and Kellen Winslow. I'm good. I'm good with that. I'll take the guy that is a pass receiver, basically playing Keith Jackson, tight end. I'll take it. I got no problem with it. I've seen it before for many years in the league. Okay? Plenty of guys that were running routes and they weren't necessarily pancaking anybody. The only time they were pancaking is when they were having it for breakfast. That's about it. So Mike Gesicki, if you're Mike McDaniel, you should be able to find a way to make plays with that man. You should be able to find a way to create mismatches with that man. And Tua should be loving life because that's a big-ass target that you keep on the team. Mac Hollins and Mike Gesicki are two guys that would never leave my football team if I have a quarterback that needs easy plays. Give me a big body, big hands, secure, tough. I'll take it. I like Mike Gesicki, man. He's grown into one hell of a receiver. I don't worry about his blocking. He's a mismatch in himself. It's up to you, Mr. Offensive Coordinator, to design the plays to put him in a position where he is actually the driving force and forcing the mismatch. So I love this move on tagging Mike Gesicki, and whether he and his agents do challenge the tag, which, Omar talked about months ago, maybe not months, probably 6 weeks ago or something. I don't know. I'll ask him. Hell, you know what? We can't even ask Omar. His memory is so terrible, he won't even remember when he wrote that article. If he remembers, it's by chance that he's watching this show right now, and he heard me say it, so he's going to go look it up when he wrote it. But Omar's memory is so bad, he probably won't even remember that he wrote that article, actually. In fact, at 12:15, we'll go, hey, Omar, I don't know if you remember, but you wrote this article. I'm going to ask him like that. And, well, of course, we'll have one or two pop culture references for Omar that'll go right over his head and he won't figure it out. We'll do that. It's a Pop Culture Tuesday with Omar Kelly. Now, you do know that if you ever were part of a game show and you had to answer pop culture questions, you do understand that you would never, ever use Omar as a friend. I just want to warn you ahead of time. Okay? Hey, can I use the line for a friend? Yeah, no problem. You've got one of those available to you. Do not call Omar. Just saying. Alexander Rene Diaz, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Great job as always. Oh, keep up the good work. Thank you, Alexander. You're a Knicks fan, huh? Not all of us are perfect. I totally understand that. Manuel says some national writers already are saying Gesicki has a great case at the grievance for being tagged as a tight end instead of a wide receiver. Whatever, bro. I'm not worried about it. Whatever media members say or not. We'll find out, and that'll be the deal that Miami has to, put up with at this point in time. The one thing is he's not going to, the tag will not be wide receiver. That's for sure. They're not going to keep that tag on him, no matter what, and nobody's going to pay him like that either. But I mean, it does allow him, if he can free himself up, to then drive the price up and get the best contract, which you can't blame him and his representatives for trying to get the best deal possible. That's how the game is played, and it is what it is. Now, he was wearing a Dolphin hat on his way to his honeymoon. So he's been positive about it. All right, we are in. Yeah, just went on sale at 10 a.m. Allison Chains. I love it. I'm going to Allison Chains on my birthday, October 1st. So for those of you, Allison Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush all together. They say they may add another band or two to the thing, but those three for my birthday? Are you kidding me? That's one hell of a show, dude. All three good bands, man. I saw Breaking Benjamin at Rockville. They were pretty good. I love Allison Chains and Bush. I mean, those two, awesome. But it's cool to get Breaking Benjamin too at the same time. So just got those tickets. You guys see the Pompano Amphitheater on September 9th. They've got Lost in the 80s, Flock of Seagulls, Wang Chung, English Beat, Naked Eyes, Missing Persons, Stacy Q, and Musical Youth. The question is, when Musical Youth is jamming past the Dutchie, will people be lighting up at that moment at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater? I'm just saying. Just saying. Big O, a Libra. Yes, I am, sir. I am a Libra. I've been a Libra my entire life, I think. Big O, thoughts on the crypto news. What crypto news? What, the Biden thing? Oh, come on, bro. Please. Not worried about any of that. Yeah, I let others worry about FUD. I don't worry about the FUD, dude. But do you guys know who Biden's number one donor is? Anybody know? Here, let me give you Biden's number one donor, where I don't think that crypto will ever be affected by this regime. Here, all right? Can I use this picture here? Let me see. There we go. All right, we'll use this picture here. So take off that that crypto.com thing for me. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as always, because you're a freaking stud. Here we go. Here is Biden's number one donor. You know who that is? That is Sam Friedman, the owner of FTX Cryptocurrency Exchange. He is the number one donor of Joe Biden. You do the math. I'm not worried. So they can talk. Doesn't matter. It's all. I keep trying to explain to you all, but you don't follow it, you don't understand it, and you just want to listen to the FUD that's out there and the people that don't know anything, and they start reporting and throwing stuff out there, and it's oh my God, China is against crypto. VeChain is Chinese. VeChain is tied to Purdue, to Walmart, to Amazon, to Louis Vuitton, to Range Rover. What do you mean China's not into crypto? Do you know anything? Do you understand what's actually going on? But then you listen to others that are writing it and talking about it, and they don't really know. You know what I mean? So So, hey, Barney, it's getting old, bro. It's getting really, really old. All the misinformation you spew about everything, dude. Everything. It's really getting old, dude. Really getting old. And I'm not even talking about crypto. I'm about all the other stuff. You're on real like the thinnest of ice. Just want you to know, brother. Thinnest of ice. Really, like, patience has completely kind of run out with you. Just so you'll know. Let's take a quick break. Let's get ready for Cam Wolfe, baby. Let's talk a little Dolphins and a little NFL next.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and Miami Dolphins with our Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolfe. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
All righty. Yeah, there he is. Where are you?
I'm at a park. Yeah, at a park, man. Just finished up a morning run. So just hanging out here in this good weather.
You're not running. Get the hell out of here. There's not
I
a
am
drop of
running.
sweat on your ass.
I just finished running like 5 minutes ago. I dried off for you. I dried off for you, Big O.
You're Douglas Edwards or something,
I
bro?
dried off for you, Big O.
Douglas Edwards played basketball at Miami High and at FSU. You know, you're a little young for his time. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. I always used to freak out with Doug Edwards, right? Because I followed him. I used to watch him at Miami High, all these great teams. I don't know if you know about this, but Miami High is like the Boston Celtics of Florida. They have more state champions. You walk in, they have an old gym like in the 50s with second levels and everything. And they have the old what's that called? When the light's coming through the window pane, the old kind of field house, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, real classic. It's like you go in there, it's a historic place. So Doug Edwards, he could play 40 minutes and the dude would not have one bead of sweat on there. And it was like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, are you normal or something? So you're Doug Edwards, bro, of media. I mean,
hey, man, I do.
5 minutes
do.
you might be sweating even more. I mean, it's just 5 minutes later. It's like
you see, I perfectly found this tree to sit under to hide from the sun. I do sweat though. I do sweat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in a sauna. Sauna, right? That's when you're sweating.
No, when I'm doing high intensity work, I will say this was not a fast pace. I was just getting in a nice breeze, nice breezy. Probably more of a jog than a run, honestly.
Now you know Cam is the guy you draft for your pickup game because he's clearly in shape. I'm not. He is, okay. All right. Let's get to it. Gesicki tagged, no brainer, obviously, and then 2, can he challenge? Will he challenge? And can he beat the tag and make it a receiver tag instead of a tight end tag?
No, those are all different questions. I mean, I think there's a good chance they do challenge. Like from what I had heard throughout the process, his team wanted to make clear that he thought himself as a big slot receiver rather than a tight end. And if you remember a few days ago or maybe a week ago, Chris Greer talked to us at the Combine, and he said that there had been really no significant long-term talks with Gesicki and his team. It was further along with Agba. So a reason for that is the evaluation for Gesicki is more of a slot receiver salary, whereas the Dolphins are viewing him closer to the tag and a tight end salary. So I definitely think that there is a good chance they file a grievance. As far as winning it, I think that's going to be a far harder challenge. If you remember, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, Jimmy Graham tried to do the same thing. He said, hey, I'm a receiver. I play in the slot more than I do inline receiving. And the arbitrator said that if you play in the slot, that's considered a tight end role. So they considered that to still be a tight end. So Mike Gesicki's best argument would be I play a wide receiver. I play out wide more than I do anything else. And if you look at the numbers, he plays slot receiver first most, outside second most, and then inline receiver third most. So although I want all these players to get their money and Gesicki to get as much as he can, I think that he's going to be playing on a $10.9 million tight end tag this year.
Yeah, and I think it's and considering everything, I think it's a smart move. Man, I've watched like I talked about this before you came on. I watched Brent Jones. I watched Jackson for the Dolphins years ago. Um, I've watched tight ends all throughout the history of the NFL. Kellen Winslow Sr. Plenty of
Right.
guys that they weren't blockers, dude. And we have plenty of guys in this league right now that play tight end, and they're not blockers, dude. Jonnu Smith is not a guy which you follow, right? He's not
Yep.
necessarily, he's not really considered a blocker, right?
Hmm.
So this whole thing that your tight end has to, because Omar has this complete fixation with Gesicki not blocking. To me, it's
Hmm.
not a big deal as long as you're a weapon. If you're, like Smythe, I like what he's done and he's grown into it, but he's not the dynamic player that Gesicki is, or Jonnu Smith, or several other young tight ends out there that are athletic. The Goddard guy in Philadelphia, that guy's not considered a blocker either, but he's a good
He's a
pass
better
guy.
blocker. He's definitely a
Yeah,
better
he is.
blocker than
Yes, he
Gesicki,
is
though.
better. He is
Yes.
better. He is better. But he is better. Well, I mean, better than Gesicki
Hey,
is not really saying much, by the way.
right. So I'll look at it this way, man. Mike Gesicki does not want to block. I think if you asked him, he would tell you that that's not his forte. Big O, I'm not sure how Gesicki would do blocking you or I, to be honest. But what he does do is he's a great pass catcher. He's probably top 5 at his position. And that is a skill set that you have. And you heard the coaches speak to getting the players in their best skill set. So one thing that Gesicki does do is he finds ways to catch the football. He finds ways to make plays on third down in the red zone, in key situations and tight windows. And that's an asset when you have a young quarterback. Now, that being said, when you have the new scheme, and this is the big question I have, and I've asked some people on that staff, is the tight end has been a blocking position in the 49er scheme. So if you're keeping Mike Gesicki, is he going to be a role like he was previously, where he's truly a receiver, a slot receiver, and you have another tight end on the field like a Durham Smythe at all times,
Right. Right.
and that's your offense? Or are you going to try, which they've kind of referenced, to make Gesicki a inline tight end and use him in both roles and try to make him better as a blocker? So I think there are two different routes they can take. And to me, I just don't know if Gesicki's ever going to be the blocker that you want him to be. So I think it would be dangerous for them to try to say, hey, we're going to make him an inline blocker, because I think that hurts your run game. So that's one element I am looking, and that's a coaching staff deal. Do they try to force him to be something he's not, or do they say, hey, we'll adjust our scheme and play more true to tight end, even though it's a true tight end and a slot receiver?
By the way, the Premier League has ended their broadcasting partnership in Russia and is donating 1 million to Ukraine relief fund. Holy crap, dude. Like everybody's dumping them,
Good
dude.
for them. Good
Yeah,
for
good
them.
for them. Yeah, definitely. We got to stop buying oil from them fools. All right. Anyway, so let's get back to this. All right. So good. And listen, in the end, here's where I lay the responsibility. I lay it on Mike McDaniel. I lay it on the offensive coordinators. They're the ones that have got to figure it out. Other teams figure it out. Look, you came from a team that I bragged about for several years, not for the quarterback, because the quarterback, benefited from it. But Arthur Smith is just a phenomenal play designer, and he knew how to get, and he had multiple tight ends at times. So he knew how to get guys involved in the offense on a consistent basis. And so to me, that's really what it's all about. It's about the offensive coordinator using his creativity in finding ways to get, I don't care if it's your tight end, your fullback, your receivers, whatever it is. But if you got a guy that's got a talent like Gesicki, now your responsibility is to make him productive on your offense. And I'm with you. Make him productive on your offense. Now you're blocking.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I'm excited to see is, like, I think we talked about this before. They hired new coaches with focus on two main positions, tight end and offensive line. So their offensive coordinator, Frank Smith, he's been an O-line coach and a tight end coach. John Embry, their tight end coach and assistant head coach, has been a tight end coach throughout his career, a well-respected guy I've heard a lot of good things about in the league. So those are two maybe top 5 coaches on your staff, assistant coaches on your staff, who will be able to work hands-on with Mike Gesicki, with some of those tight ends in the room, Hunter Long, Durham Smythe, they bring him back. So I think that Gesicki could even be a better player than he already is. I think one thing that Gesicki has that a lot of players don't have is his athletic ability. I would imagine there's not 3 tight ends in the league that are more athletic than him. So I would like them to continue to expand his role. I think that he can be more than just a jump ball receiver. I'd like to see them use him in a variety of different routes and ways. So
Yeah, he can run routes.
I don't see why Gesicki couldn't become a 1,000-yard receiver in the new offense. He's been right on the brink. I think this year he was at 800. He can become one of those receivers in the conversation that we talk about. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, some of these other top tight ends in the league, Gronk when he's healthy. I don't think there's any reason why Gesicki can't enter his name in those conversations. So that's one element when you bring Gesicki back. And I am thinking that, if I had to call it today, I think they let him play on the franchise tag because there's some of a waiting see in how he fits in a new offense. But I do think that when you look at your young talent and players that you groom, given where Mike Gesicki came up with, when he was a second-round pick and everybody was hating on him and he was blocking everybody on Twitter because everybody was saying something negative about him, and where he is now, I think that's the growth you want to see development-wise. If you're a front office, if you're a coaching staff from a young player. So I think that he's just really scratching the surface of what he can be.
Somebody put there that, hey, Gesicki will improve his blocking with these guys. And I'm not going to go that far. And then you say, well, he's not going to be a blocker. And I don't want to go that far either. But I do think that with these guys, where I think he will pick up his blocking is out in the open field.
Mm-hmm.
Is where he'll pick up a DB or a safety and kind of get in front of him to help the running game. That's where I think his blocking improves. The inline stuff, I'm with you. You know what I mean? The out in the open field stuff, that's where I'm with one of the texters that put that there, that I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to use him as a weapon, but they're also going to use him in the blocking scheme, but it's more of the open field blocking scheme, which is a little bit easier for him to try to hold off a safety or a DB or somebody like that in the open field.
No, absolutely. And obviously my comment about he can't block
I got you.
Tongue in cheek. He can block NFL players. But I do think you're right. I think that his size as a natural, 245-pound guy, 6'6", he's winning that matchup against most corners, most nickel guys, most safeties. So it's just a matchup. You don't want him going against edge rushers on a regular basis, but if he's going against those smaller DBs, then that's the position that you want. So like I said, I'm waiting to see how he evolves in this game. I reported this yesterday on NFL Network, but I know they want another playmaker on offense opposite Jalen Waddle to be able to get him in. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fit all these pieces. I have a question. What does that mean for Devontae Parker? Because if you bring in another receiver and you have Jalen Waddle on the field and you have Mike Gesicki, to me, that are 3 receivers already. And if you're already adding another tight end, there isn't really a room for a Devontae Parker. So I'm watching free agency. If they do make a move for an Amari Cooper or one of these other receivers out there, then I think you could see a situation where Devontae Parker is on the trading block.
South Florida kid. So I know people are going to want Amari Cooper. He's a terrific route runner, precise route runner. And that, my friend, is priceless in this league. He's got terrific hands. He would be a great complement to Waddle. If he's really going to be released, your thoughts on that? Is that a guy? Do you hear that they might be targeting? And by the way, a guy that Reggie McKenzie drafted in Oakland.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that name a couple times when I was in Indianapolis last week for the Combine, connected with the Dolphins. Like you mentioned, he's a South Florida kid. I think he'd want to play here. The Dolphins are definitely valuing route running, separation, playmaking ability in the open field. They want that to be a central element of their offense. And we all get obsessed with talking about Deebo Samuel in the offense, but really what Deebo did best is force defenders to have conflict in the open field. And whether it's in the backfield or in the receiving game, we've already seen Jalen Waddle do that. We haven't seen.
Cam, can you give me a Bo Jackson? Can you get me a Jerry Rice? Hey, why don't you go get me a Randy Moss also? You know
Right,
what I mean? It's
right.
just it's the same shit that we do all the time.
Yeah,
There's only one Debo
there's
Samuel,
only
dude.
there's only
And
one
all of a
Debo
sudden now
Samuel.
we got a part of Dolphin Nation that wants to put Lynn Bowden Jr. in that position already. Like, hey, don't look out for Lynn Bowden Jr. He could be a Debo's. Like, are we going to set this kid up for failure too now? Come on.
Yeah,
Can we let
yeah,
Lynn Bowden be Lynn Bowden, please? Let's
right.
find out what
I
Lynn Bowden is.
I just want Lynn Bowden to be healthy. That's all my expectation for
Yeah,
Lynn Bowden is. If he's healthy and he makes the roster, then I think that's a good start for Lynn Bowden, given where he's been the first couple of years of his career. You know.
I don't think people realize that how difficult it is to find a guy like Debo Samuel.
Yep.
Like a tough inside runner that's a receiver.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
I think it's a copycat league, Big O. Everybody wants the new
Fine.
sexy thing. Now Debo Samuel, he's a sexy thing, and everybody wants him. It's crazy. 5 years ago, the knock on Debo Samuel would have been he doesn't have a true position. He's not a smooth route runner. He's not polished. What are you gonna do? And now you get a creative offensive coordinator like Kyle Shanahan. I'll tell you what, Debo Samuel and probably 25 other offenses would not be Debo Samuel because they don't have the creativity to use him in his best skill set. So you
By
need
the
to.
way,
That's
he might be Cordero Patterson bouncing around the league.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at what Cordell Patterson's doing in Atlanta last year. Everybody's like, where did this guy come from? Well, he's been in the league for 10 years. Finally, a coach decided that maybe we should play him at running back versus playing him outside receiver where he's struggling to get off press.
By the way, who's the play designer in Atlanta? I'm sorry.
That's Arthur Smith. Very good coach. Very good
Okay.
coach out there. And a tight ends coach by background, by the way.
Right.
I'm a big proponent. I think I've told you this, Big O. I'm a big proponent of position coaches other than quarterback getting chances to be schemers, be play callers, whether tight end coach, receiver coach like McDaniel's path is, or running back coaches, because they have different visions of the game. I know everything is quarterback based in our league, but the vision of a tight end coach, you look at things a little differently coming up. And you see that with Arthur Smith. You see that with Mike McDaniel. So I'm excited to see that element of his game, what he does for the wide receivers, given that he's a play caller coming from that side of the field.
Well, and look, the common denominator in a lot of that stuff that we're talking about here, whether it's Tennessee or Atlanta or in other places, is that it comes from the heart and soul of the running game and also a short controlled passing game. So you can maintain possession and move the chains and move the clock and have more possessions than your opponent at times. All of those things, all of those elements play into it. And I think that's part of the reason why Miami has been failing so much for so long, because the heart and soul of their offense has never been the running game. They have never been able to punch the opponent in the mouth and shove the ball down their throats like Tennessee does to make life easy for everybody else. Like when Mahomes is going well, it's because they can run and they can block, and then that allows them to be explosive. We saw San Francisco and many other teams. When you get that running game involved, dude, it just changes everything and allows everything else to be a lot easier.
Now, you're on the money. You mentioned Tennessee. I know this is going to be your favorite topic, but look at when Ryan Tannehill left Miami and got to Tennessee. And we all talked about, or a lot of people talked about, how his game evolved and how he became comeback player of the year. He's a different quarterback. And look at what they did differently. They have an offense that had a really strong offensive line. They're getting older now, but at the time, in a top 5 offensive line, they have a probably the best running back in football in Derrick Henry. And so you can really thrive off of play action as a quarterback, a lot of one-on-one coverage. So that's something that I would love to see this year. I don't know if it's a one-year journey. It may take 2 years for them to rebuild this offensive line and really rebuild this running game to where it needs to be, being a top 10, top 15 group. But I think the first step would be to make sure they're not bottom 5 as they've been the last 3 or 4 years.
And by the way, they had 2 running backs last year, because when Henry went down, Foreman saved their ass, because he's better than anything Miami's had.
And Tennessee's a prime example of believing in your scheme. Mike Vrabel's had 3 different offensive coordinators in his time there, but they still run the Tennessee scheme regardless of who they are. And they're going to run this power run game after you. And that's why you can grab a guy like Deontay Foreman off the street. Literally, he was on the street for 2 months.
Yeah.
They pick him up, and he almost had 1,000 yards rushing in 8 games. So that to me tells you that if you have a plug and play system, and that, I love running backs, but that's sort of where you get into the value of a running back, because if any guy can run for 100 yards a game in that system, that makes it easier for you to say, hey, I'm going to spend value at the offensive line position. I'm going to spend value at the receiver position, and then still draft one of those running backs in the day 2, day 3 selection, as you've seen, Kyle Shanahan do in the past.
The real secret in Tennessee, I did figure it out, by the way. I want you to know. It's really all about the power of the hair, because you really notice it's called the power dread is what it is. Henry has, and then Foreman got there and he kind of developed the power dread, and then that's it.
Right.
It's once you unleash it, it's over, bro. We had it here with Ricky Williams for a little while,
Right.
We had the power dread. You got it. The powers of the dreads, bro.
Hey, the dread backs run differently, right? It's the Florida vibe. Ricky Williams there, Derrick Henry, he's a Florida guy too, North Florida, but Florida nonetheless. You run different with the dreads. I'm with you. The dread heads run different.
That's where the power is, my brother. All right, so what are the chances that Amari Cooper is a Miami Dolphin? What would be the percentages Cameron Wolfe would put on Amari Cooper? Because I hated the fact anybody would mention to me, hey, trade for a receiver, trade for a running back. I hated that. It's like, dude, do you realize you could sign them? You don't have to give away draft picks and money to do that stuff. So your thoughts, Amari Cooper, what's the percentage?
So first, he has to reach the market officially, which I think he will. There's been talks about trade. I think his salary is too big, from what I'm hearing, that he will get released. Although right now they're trying to see if they can get a trade for a late round pick.
Is it less of a cap hit if they trade him than flat out cut?
Well, I think he's got some guaranteed money still on his token, and it is. And they would want value. They would still want value. So I don't know if the cap hit changes a lot, but I think they would see, hey, instead of releasing Amari Cooper, if we can get a 6th round pick for him, that's better than nothing. So I think that's the view. But I think ultimately he will get released, because I think he's going to get less than that $20 million salary that I think he's due right now. But I don't think it'll be a lot less. What's going to be interesting is how quickly the receiver market moves. If you remember last year, that market was very, very slow. It took like 3 days for the top receiver to get off the market, and the numbers were less than they were last year. And so that's why the Dolphins ended up getting Will Fuller at a lesser rate. So I think that you're going to see Chris Godwin already tagged. Devontae Adams is going to get tagged. So I think Amari Cooper, if I had to put a number on it, maybe 25%. I think that's probably fair, because I think there's a 50% chance the Dolphins walk away with a new starting receiver from free agency. And I think there's probably a half percentage of chance that that's Amari Cooper.
Yeah. By the way, Will Fuller ended up becoming a lemon, bro. So it wasn't a bargain at the end. Right.
It wasn't. But remember, when we saw it at the time, we were all like, we get the speedy receiver who can open things up for Tua. It's going to be excellent. And that's the dangers of free agency, right? Everything looks great until you open the package and you realize why some of these players hit free agency.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch his work there at the NFL Network, and catch him twice a week here doing his thing with the Miami Dolphins Report. Cam, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Big O.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolfe.
This has been the Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolfe. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com.
All right, good stuff there by Cam. And as predicted, Barney came through once again. Barney, you got blocked, and it's over for you. So done. Appreciate it. Just so you know, look, man, it's a free world. You know what I mean? That's fine. And you guys can be on the chat board all you want, agree, disagree, whatever. But if you're going to continue to spew crap and spew misinformation and lies and just, be, I got the power. I'm just going to eliminate it. And I'm just going to get you out. Barney goes, hey, remember, he pushes crypto because OK Coin is the #1 sponsor on here. And it's like, OK Coin's been a sponsor on here for 2 months. I've been into crypto over a year. That's what I'm talking about. Like, one has nothing to do with the other. OK Coin may be a sponsor. I hope it's a sponsor for a long time to come. But if they're not, doesn't mean I'm not going to stop talking or investing in crypto. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. So you have a right to say what you want. But if you're just going to continue to spew lies and misinformation and crap, then I have the same right to crush your ass and get you out of here. That's it. Because in the end, you're nothing more than an annoyance. You're not contributing to the program. So if you're going to be an annoyance, we don't need you. That's all. Simple. Later. All right. All we need is a sponsor from Wolverhampton English Premier League to go along with Cameron Wolfe would be genius. That's very nice. I like that. Let's see. Sponsors pay the bills. Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. By the way, OK Coin became a sponsor because they realized that I know crypto, talk crypto, and all of that. It's not the other way around. But people like Barney aren't very smart. They just see it one way. You know what I mean? They're not doing advertising on a lot of sports shows. Why? Because most of them aren't going to know anything about crypto. My God, I think what was it on one morning on QM? I'm listening, and Danny does Hollywood, right? He does some like business, like some stock report, and like he knows nothing and says nothing about it, and it's sponsored. I like drive around. I'm wondering, wow, so the sponsor pays for a joke, not really a real stock report and real information. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, okay, but at least when we're talking crypto, we're actually giving you like real information about what's going on and this and that. It's the weirdest thing, bro. The amount of laziness that there is in that business. It's truly fantastic, actually. How many people are actually stealing money in that business? Jamie says, Big O, I just don't see Gesicki in the Dolphins scheme. What are the chances of trading Mike G now that he's been tagged? You could trade him, but it's one of those things. It's going to be hard because you're trading and you got to give him a new contract. Remember what I just told you about the Dolphins? It's not a very smart move. Like there were a bunch of you that wanted to trade for Calvin Ridley, and I was like, "Are you crazy?" And that had nothing to do with this buffoonery that he's in now, because he's an idiot. You know what I mean? He might be a nice guy, but he's a dumbass. He's a first class dumbass, and I hope he looks in the mirror constantly for the next year and says, "Man, I'm a dumbass." I hope he's that honest with himself. Okay, because it happens to all of us. We do stupid things. We got to look in the mirror and say, man, I did that. That was really stupid what I did. So I hope he does that. But just, it's just one of those things where Gesicki I think, is a guy that they got to figure out how to make it happen and make it work now. And trading him, I don't think is an option. He's cheap. And 9.5 right now. Just play him, figure it out, see if this next year you can do something. Here's the thing. You might be able to trade him next year before the trading deadline if it's not working out. That's when I think you might be able to move him if you're going to move him at that point. Okay? That could be the case. Let's see what we got here. Got a couple super chats coming in. Devin Jordan. As always, you're a stud, always chiming in. Big O, I have a feeling the Dolphins let Ogba test free agent mark. Well, they are. They're not tagging him, for sure. For sure. I'm sure they're going to compare and see what, plus there's a lot of defensive ends. Maybe they're targeting another guy like Ogba that has been an underachiever, and they think he can do what Ogba did, and, I'm not sure. I don't know what they're thinking, but they've got to get another defensive end. But they must have a plan. The draft, free agency, something. Musa Hamadeh. Is it Hamadeh? Did I get it right? Only reason Gesicki played more snaps at wide receiver is because he can't block for crap. So he kicks rocks if he thinks he's going to get paid as a wide receiver. Probably right. You're probably right, Musa. 9.5 is worth it for a year with McDaniel calling plays. I agree, Jason. I agree 100%. Big O, which free agent do you like if he doesn't get the tag? I want Amari Cooper. That's who I want. I would like Amari Cooper opposite of Jalen Waddle. I would also like Cordarrelle Patterson. I think he's a free agent. I would love to see McDaniel grab Cordarrelle Patterson and try to see if he can rig it with him and do some, because he's the only guy I see that has the kind of body that can do some of the things that, like some of you out there, you're just putting this, poor Lynn Bowden Jr. He hasn't even proven if he can play in this league. You all of a sudden want to make him prove that he can be Deebo Samuel. That's like, damn, dude, that's rough, man. That's rough. But Cordarrelle Patterson has that running back attitude. He's a returner as it is in nature. He's not a great route runner, so he kind of has a lot of those Deebo Samuel qualities. So maybe he's one of those guys that can do some of the Deebo Samuel stuff. But we have to stop with this. Nobody's Deebo Samuel. Okay? It's a really original position right now. And it's something that is not common in the NFL. So it's not something that's run in college. Now, if you start seeing people run that kind of stuff and then players can grow into that role, then okay. But let's not make it sound like it's really easy to find a dude like that. You got to be one tough hombre, man. And receivers are not normally built like that. So it's almost got to be like what Deebo is naturally, a former running back who has some receiver skills and has the incredible toughness too at the same time. Let's see. Shannon Sharp, Owen Daniel, Chris Cooley, all not known as blockers, but succeeded in offenses. Yes, sir, Dean Brown. You are, sir, what I call an educated football fan. Chris Godwin. I like him, but remember, he's off a knee injury. So when is he healthy? I love Chris Godwin. Maybe, and you know what? That's a good call, actually. Now that I think about it, Miguel, you remind me of the Cuban player that the Marlins signed. What was the guy's name? That Victor, right, or something like that. Anyway, you bring up a good point. Chris Godwin, you might be able to get a little bit of a discount because of the knee. And knee injuries aren't a big thing. You can come back from them. I'm sorry, Sean, what were we going to say?
The Bucks just franchise tagged Chris Godwin.
Oh, they did? Oh, that sucks. Oh, well. So much for that.
Per Ian Rappaport.
Hey, we'll talk to Ian about that tomorrow at 10:10. That's funny. All right, let's get ready for hour number 2 here on the program. Manny Navarro will join us at 11:30. We got Omar Kelly at 12:15. And George Richards, baby. It's the Florida Panthers lockdown segment. Yeah. Lenny Locksmith and the Florida Panthers lockdown segment. George Richards makes his debut. You can catch him here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Thursday, David Dwork will do it at 1 o'clock. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's the Panthers lockdown segment at 1 o'clock, baby. Yeah. So we got that. All right, let's take a real quick break. Hour number 2 is next.
62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help. South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, baby, it's hour number dos del programa. Lots of things to talk about. Talked a little bit about the Heat in hour number one. We've talked some Dolphins, talked to Cameron Wolfe. We've talked to the Mike Gesicki situation. We're going to let me get into a little bit of the Calvin Ridley stuff, because this is a good one to get into, to talk a little bit about the Calvin Ridley situation. As you all know, he has now been suspended for the year for doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, and that is gambling on football. Apparently, he was away from the team, and he was working on his mental state because he had some issues. So now he was betting on NFL games during a 5-day stretch on the Hard Rock Sports app. So the NFL has this service that tracks everything going on. So if any of the names, any NFL names come up on any of these gambling services, it sends up a red flag, it alerts the league, then the league goes after the player, yada, yada, yada. When you sign your contract, everybody knows, man, you can't gamble on your sport, dude. Everybody knows that. All players and coaches and everybody and owners, everybody, Stephen Ross, everybody knows you can't be doing that at all. From the Black Sox to Pete Rose to Paul Hornung to Art Schlichter to you name it. The history is there, brother. We talk about the Black Sox, and it's over 100 years old. Okay? Pete Rose has had to live it down forever. And now, more than ever, you're now using gambling services, and you're going to take their money. You have to. You have to, as an organization, as a corporation, you have to be on the up and up. There's no way you can get away with this if you're not. Then you become wrestling. And now we're choreographing the end. Can't do that. Now, apparently, Calvin Ridley just bet on, apparently he said he bet $1,500. And by the way, somebody told Calvin Ridley to shut the hell up already. And well, I guess I got a year. LOL. It's like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, yeah, you must have needed that time off, young man, because there's something wrong with you. You're joking about this. You're joking about losing millions of dollars. You're joking about being an idiot. He got what he deserved, and he's lucky that it's only a year. It should be maybe a ban from the sport, period, because that way, if you did it once, they shouldn't even take the chance of a second time. When it comes to gambling, this is just something that if you're going to take other people's money that has to do with gambling, you cannot give any kind of impressions that it's rigged or that somebody has an edge in anything. Okay? Only when you have an edge energy drink, then you got the edge. But seriously, so I have no problem with all of it. Matthew Judon comes out, and Matthew Judon obviously not very smart, and he's ripping the league for the suspension. It's a matter of not understanding where you're at and what this league is trying to do. And you cannot have any kind of doubt whatsoever. And that's why they take it so serious. And I know it's ridiculous. We could come up with Leonard Little killing a woman and only getting an 8-game suspension. So I get it if you want to compare it to real crimes. It's a completely different thing. I get it. But this affects the entire game itself. And so you cannot have anything like that even rear its ugly head. So they have to squash it. And they can't give anybody a break. They got to be like they have been in the past. Look at Pete Rose, man. His entire career got ruined because of that. And he bet on his own team while he was a manager, not even a player. And yet baseball said, you're out of here. And I have no problem, by the way. I've said this from day one. I have no problem with Pete Rose being banned from baseball. I have no problem putting him in the Hall of Fame as a player because he bet as a manager, not as a player. But I have no problem that Pete Rose should never be a part of baseball. He bet. So am I supposed to treat Calvin Ridley different than Pete Rose? Well, guess what? They are. They're only giving him a 1-year suspension. You probably should be banned for life for being caught gambling on your own sport. You should. You should be banned for life. Calvin Ridley is fortunate, is what he is, that he's only getting a year. That's the reality of all of this. Okay? Devin, thank you, sir. Says Big O, was this another Pete Rose situation? No and yes, because like I mentioned, one's a manager, he wasn't a player. So it's a little different, but it's the same. It's the same, except in baseball, now Pete lied. So that's the difference, Devin. Here's where we got to commend, if we got to give Calvin a little credit at least, he didn't lie about it, which would have made it worse. And he said, yeah, I'm an idiot. I gambled, whatever. He probably, told the commissioner, yes, sir, I that was me. That's it. And they commended him for admitting it and all that. And they gave him the year and it's over. So it's a little different because Pete Rose was ignorant for like 20 years. Like he got busted. They had the proof, all of that. And then the idiot kept lying and lying for 20 years. And then that's why Pete Rose is ostracized. And that's why he's, banned from everything because you're an idiot, dude. if you would have had your mea culpa right there and then, you do your Jason Giambi, you're crying, all that, or Posada, right? I think it was not Posada. I'm sorry, Posada. Who was it? Was it Andy Pettit or somebody that just came clean and then we kind of forgave him? I think it was Andy Pettit, right? And Calvin Ridley came clean. Pete Rose was an idiot. Pete Rose gambled, got busted, and then lied about it. At least Calvin Ridley gambled, got busted, and was man enough to say, yeah, I screwed up. So he gets his 1 year. Like I said, he's lucky it's not a lifetime. I would change that rule in all of sports to lifetime ban. Not 1 year, lifetime. There should not be any breaks whatsoever for betting on your own sport. None. Lifetime ban is what it should be. So Calvin Ridley, in my eyes, is fortunate. He should pay the price that others have paid, that it's like a lifetime ban. And that's what I would do to every other person. If I'm football from here on out, in the next collective bargaining agreement, hey, yeah, we're going to avoid this from here on out. It'll be a lifetime ban. That's it. That way, when players know, put it on the locker room. Caught, lifetime ban. Period. No chance for Hall of Fame, nothing. End of story. Let's see if anybody else wants to do it. That's what I would do with Calvin Ridley in that situation. He got his year, great. He's the last guy that gets a year. Everybody else, lifetime ban. No questions asked. Key is thrown away. Nothing. You do not collect go. You do not collect 200. Nothing. Your ass is going in the hole, and you're never coming out of it again. That's what should happen in every sport. I don't care if it's MLS soccer and football or baseball or basketball or hockey. Every sport should have a lifetime ban if you get busted for gambling on your sport. So, there you go. Big O, do you think the Falcons should cut Calvin Ridley? No. No, they don't have to pay him, dude. He's off the books for a year. So why would you cut a guy that's not on the books? You got what is it, 11 million, I think? You got 11 million of cap space now for this year. So you got a break. Nah, you keep him in. He can play. The kid's a good player. He learned his lesson. That's all. He learned a really bad lesson. That's an expensive $1,500 loss because you lost 11 million, dude. Damn. That's some bad odds. Nice to see someone speak sense on this issue. There has been a lot of poor takes on this issue. Big O, you have nailed it. I mean, it goes down to the competitive nature of the game. You cannot have any kind of improprieties going on or any kind of doubt that the game is rigged. You can't do that. So I think you have to send an even stronger. He gets away with it because that's the rule. It's a year. Fine. He'll get to, I know he gets to appeal it in a couple days here, and he's going to appeal it, but he's going to lose like a dog. So that doesn't matter. I don't care about the appeal. But next year when he gets, he applies for reinstatement, obviously, hopefully he doesn't gamble anymore, says he doesn't have an issue, whatever. But yeah, I would change that rule. That's a bad rule that the NFL has. A year is not enough. Can't do that. Barney got a lifetime ban. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you constantly say stupid things and you just, it just gets to a point, right? Where you let it slide and then after a while, you just like, yeah, no, it's not productive to have somebody just spewing garbage all the time and saying stupid stuff that has no sense whatsoever. Phil McCall said, Phil, I just read that. Frankie says Floyd Mayweather was never criticized for betting on himself. Do you think he should not be able? That's boxing, Frankie. Frankie, it's boxing, okay? Let's not compare boxing to professional sports, okay? Just let's leave it at that, all right? Okay? That's apples and oranges. Okay? I'm talking about like real sports that we watch all the time. I understand that boxing is a real sport, but it's not really a sport that's led the right way. So, let's compartmentalize the word we love to use here on the show. Let's separate the two. Those are not fair comparisons by any stretch whatsoever. Ah, boxing's the most corrupt. It's, come on. The crap that goes on in boxing, I mean, put it this way, if that went on in like regular pro sports, those sports would die out. They would die out completely. The shit that's gone on in boxing, the decisions that judges have made, and the things that have happened in boxing, that happens in basketball or football, or it crushes. It ends the sport. Ends it. They would become just fringe stuff. They would be niche things that they would end up becoming, like what boxing is now, niche. And I love boxing, but I'm not blind to what boxing has done to itself, unfortunately. As much as I love the sport, it kills itself with the terrible decisions, the lack of matches. We rarely ever get great boxing matches. Boxers avoid each other all the time. The promoters avoid all the great fights. They wait too long to have them or never have them in the first place. It's terrible, dude. And I love boxing. But Frankie, we could never compare what I was talking about to boxing. That's a different world completely. Big O's a fair guy. There could be hope for Barney. No, probably not. No. People like that really rarely have. It's just when it's constant like that all the time, there's probably no hope for people like that. It's a constant spewing of negativity and statements that have no substance, no proof whatsoever, and it's just constantly, bro. I don't really think there's much hope for Barney at all, to be quite honest with you. So I can fairly tell you that, actually. Can someone explain to me how Deebo Samuel was used in San Francisco? I do not follow them, so I'm not 100% sure what he did there. Carlos, it's called highlights. It's called YouTube. Why would anybody explain it to you, Carlos? Go watch it, dude. Go watch YouTube. It's there. Put Deebo Samuel highlights San Francisco and just knock yourself out, bro. What do you need anybody? Nobody's going to be able to explain it like you can see it. So pretty simple, man. You're on YouTube already. Hit Deebo Samuel and check it out. And you won't need anybody. Big O, would you give the 29th pick for Tunsil? Yes, I would, in a heartbeat. Yes, I would. That I would. I would not trade a pick for a receiver or a running back. That's flat out stupid. Let's just be brutally honest here. Okay? It's flat out stupid to trade a pick for a receiver and a running back that you then have to also pay them a large ass salary. That's ridiculous. I told you all that before Calvin Ridley had any problems. I told you I would never trade for Calvin Ridley. Had nothing to do with his issues. It's just I'm not trading for a guy that you also have to give a big contract to. That's stupid. So you sign one in free agency. So if Cooper is released, that's what I'm doing. If I got to overpay a little bit for Cooper, that's fine, but I'm not overpaying and also giving a first or a second round pick for no, I'm not doing that. So that's what you do. Okay? But Tunsil, 29th pick, in a heartbeat. You can get me a left tackle. I can move Eichenberg over to right tackle. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yep. All right, let's do this. Let's tell you a little bit about Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises. And I got to tell you, if your roof is on fire, first you got to put it off. Then you got to call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com to get it done. Over 25 years in the business, AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. So before we get into the rainy season coming up in a couple of months here, the hurricane season, maybe your roof has a little bit of a leak. Maybe you still have a tarp, whatever it is. Maybe you're trying to sell it. You want to get it inspected. Call the great people at Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. It's really easy. 954-735-9826. That's 954-735-9826. Licensed and insured, highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. And like I tell you all the time, man, when it comes to Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises, he is a class act, okay? Big supporter of our program, been following us for like 20 years. He and 5 of his sons, baby, they all listen to the show. So support the great people that support us. If you need some roof help right now, home or business, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. 954-735-9826. They're also an official Y Green contractor. So if you're looking for your home to get green, Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises can also help you out. All right. Big O, what wide receiver would you want in free agency? Craig, you must have just tuned in. Amari Cooper is the guy that I would want in free agency if he's released from the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, would be nice. Remember, Saturday, well, first of all, Thursday, we're going to be at Hialeah Park, as always, second floor poker room. Friday, we're going to be at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, like we are twice a month, the second and fourth Fridays of the month. Saturday, we're going to be opening up a brand new Perdomo Cigar Lounge. So we're going to be joining Nick Perdomo and company out at Smoke Inn in Pompano this Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. So come on out, get some great Perdomo specials, and join us at Smoke Inn in Pompano, 4640 North Powerline Road. So come on out and join us. Yes, Sean?
Aaron Rodgers, 4 years, $200 million.
Wow.
Ian Rappaport.
Well, we'll talk to Ian Rappaport tomorrow as we have him exclusively on the program. 4-year, $200 million for Rodgers. Wow. All right. Strong. That's strong company there. All right. So Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m., we'll be on around between 1 and 3. We'll be doing like about 2-hour show, and I'm not doing all 4 hours. I can't do 4 hours, dude. I do all week. I can't do 4 hours too. So we'll be out there having some fun. We'll whip out the tent too. So the Big O Show tent is coming, baby. Yeah, we've only done that one time at Craig's Inn Acura. We did it for the hell of it because we really don't need it there, but we wanted to test it out, and we've got it prepared for other events coming up, hopefully. And, well, this is one of them because we're not going to be inside with all the smoke and the equipment and all that. So we're going to be right outside of Smoke Inn doing the show. So come on out and join us, man. We're going to have some fun out there at Smoke Inn in Pompano. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's get ready for Manny Navarro. Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Canes football with Manny Navarro. We do that next in our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Manny Navarro. How you doing, my friend? You hanging in there?
Hanging in there, man. Interesting first day down there in Coral Gables for spring ball. Obviously a tough day emotionally for Mario Cristobal, but interesting first day.
Yeah, no, and some people were telling me like, well, that's weird that he's, everybody deals with grief differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he came out there and said, no, this is what my mom would have wanted. And of course she would have wanted that. You know why? Because she knows that makes her son happy. And the moms always want their kids to be happy doing whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I think some of us, not all, but some of us can relate to what Mario did yesterday, because there's a lot of us that we need things sometimes to get our minds off of that. You know what I mean? Some of us, and I think Mario's kind of like me in that sense, that he probably doesn't like sitting in a corner somewhere, pouting about something or crying over something, or, you know what I mean? It's more like, okay, I gotta compartmentalize this, and I'm dealing with the grief, but I gotta have something that keeps my mind off of it. And I think that was therapy for him yesterday. Is what I saw. I saw a man that needed some therapy, and football is his therapy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard. Oh, when it takes the level of dedication that this guy puts into doing his job, it's tough to compartmentalize, right? I mean, you lose your mom. He knew his mom was sick for several years, right? Yep. I mean, she'd been in the hospital for a while now, and coming back home, he knew this was inevitable. That said, he is so focused and dedicated to this job that for him to stop and deal with that kind of grief, the grief that he probably wants to let go, right? You want to be able to feel all of those things and shed those tears and kind of go through the emotions. It's almost like he has to protect himself from fully diving into that, because he knows if he does, it's going to be hard to maintain the focus that he needs to do his job. And he is so dedicated to that job right now. I told you last week, he looked exhausted to me when I saw him in person in Lakeland. Yesterday he looked like a guy really, really trying to fight it, when he was there talking to us. Like he didn't want to think about it until he was at the funeral. And, God bless him. It takes a strong person to be able to do what he's doing, and go through what he's gone through. The sacrifices, people don't realize the sacrifices these guys make, man. Like just the amount of hours they put into this job, it really is crazy. It's crazy in sports how these guys live and sleep at their offices and just dedicate themselves completely and put other things in their life to the side for this. And the Hurricanes are lucky to have a coach like Mario Cristobal for sure.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. It's just looks like a perfect marriage with Mario and Miami. And you're standing there and you're watching this, all these coaches on the sidelines. This might be the more star-studded coaching staff that you've covered, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you just look at the, Charlie Strong out there with a turtleneck and these khaki shorts. It's traditional. What he wears in places where it's a little colder than here, right?
Right.
He's wearing in this heat, and he's out there sweating bullets, and you can see him. The heat was rough yesterday on a lot of those guys. Joe Salavea, he's dealt with some heat in the past, but you could tell he was melting out there yesterday. The defensive line coach, he's completely got the hood covering him up. He's trying to just shield himself from that sun, man. But yeah, it was incredible. Jason Taylor out there wearing the suit, taking pictures with some of the players' moms as he was leaving the field. And I mean, this is
how many moms were asking for his number?
Hey man, I'll tell you what, Jason, he's such a nice guy, man. He'll stop by and say hi to everyone, when he's kind of on his way out the door. And so I was out there with Corey Flagg's mom, and she's, kind of visiting from Houston or whatever. She came out to see her son go through some of the spring practices. And she didn't even know who it was. Like, I had to explain to her who Jason Taylor was. She's like, "Oh, that's him?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's him." And she's very happy.
You didn't mention Dancing with the Stars, because that's really all you got to mention, because that's probably how they'll know him more than anything else.
Right. But
didn't he win it, by the way? Or he came second or something?
I think he was one of the finalists. Yeah, I'm not sure that he won it, but yeah. But I mean, listen, even Roland Smith, who ex-Hurricane, who legendary high school coach down here, man. I mean, 6-7 state championships this guy's won in his time as a high school football coach. He's there, and it's just, there's a lot more people who want to be involved with this because Mario's here. And I had a conversation with somebody recently in UM's administration about that. About, it's not just about the money that Mario has to spend. It's the fact that people look at him and they want to be attached to him.
Right.
And this situation.
Yeah. He's a credible person, man. It's a thing. He's a guy that he looks at you in the eye and he tells you what he's going to do, and then he's going to do what he tells you he's going to do, and you can count on it. And so it's, as a fellow coach, you want to work with a guy that you can depend on. You know what I mean? And that I think that's why a Charlie Strong, who could go get a bigger job if he felt like it, but he won't have the same stability. It won't be the same thing. So he comes here because now he sees that Mario's here, and then that the school's backing him up, and he says, okay, I've got a job here for a long time to come if I feel like it. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of these guys kind of feel that, like, okay, this is the kind of place I can attach my name to, and it's going to grow from here. It'll give me a platform to go to bigger and better things, or I will accomplish bigger, better things in here. So either way, you can't lose if you attach yourself to this environment right now led by Mario.
Absolutely. And, you look at a guy like Jason Taylor, who, he's got young kids. He's got kids that are in college football now. And he loves coaching. So this is sort of a perfect, it's kind of like Ed Reed was last year, where he was in that chief of staff role where, he can observe and help in the ways that he wants. And so it's beneficial for a guy like him, for a guy like Charlie Strong and Kevin Steele, who are in their 60s, who have been in college football for over 30 years. It's a place where, like you said, knowing Mario's got a contract for 10 years, they know they got a job. As long as they do a good job here for the next few years, that they can kind of settle in and maybe leave a lasting legacy, right? A place where you win to be that coach who's a part of a staff that wins a national championship for Miami again. Like that is a feather in a cap. That is a career defining type thing to be attached to something like that. So I think, whether or not those guys move on in the next couple of years to other things or retire or whatever, I think you're going to have guys willing to come in and replace them easily. Like I think Mario, and I asked him yesterday, I said, are you done adding guys? And he said, no. So I think there could be more people essentially who want to come be a part of this.
By the way, tell us a little bit about Marwan Malouf, 15-year coach in the NFL on special teams. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
That's a lot of experience.
Yeah, a lot of experience. One of a couple of special teams guys that they're essentially bringing in here in analyst type roles. He's a guy who was with the Dolphins, I think, as an assistant special teams coach for a little while, right? Wasn't he related with the Dolphins?
Most recently, yes.
Most recently with the Vikings, I know, for a little while. Vikings fans weren't happy with him because there were some specialty. I saw that. I read those little tweets. I did a Twitter search and for the name and see what are people saying about this guy. I know some Viking fans were upset with him, but you're right. 15 years of experience, and ultimately a guy who Again, Mario can go to kickers and punters and special teamers and say, look, you're working with an NFL caliber coach, right? That's the guy who would be overseeing you. That's what all of this is about. It's about building the best staff so that you can go out and recruit the best players and sell those type of things to players.
By the way, Jay on the chat board wants to give you a little love. He says, great article on The Athletic by Manny last night. Brought tears to my eyes, made me laugh, and informed me on so much. So a little love on your
I appreciate that
article yesterday.
I appreciate that, Jay. I was getting some hate yesterday on Twitter because I tweeted out that I had asked Jake Garcia, what are you still doing here? And I meant it was kind of a shortened version of my question in the press conference, but I was getting hell from fans. They're like, what are you doing asking him that? He's going to leave now. You know, you're sort of instinct. It's the wrong question to ask this guy. And, you know, I again, it was a shortened version, but essentially what I wanted to know from Jake Garcia was, you saw Tyler Van Dyke dominate, right? The second half of last season. He's going to be the starter in all likelihood. You love Miami. Why don't you tell us why you're still here? Like, explain, you know, why, tell the fans essentially that. So he did. And I got a text from his father, by the way, for the fans who are wondering. I got a text from his dad who said, listen, the short question that you put on Twitter, not good. The question you asked in real life, very good. And we appreciate you asking it. So there's no animosity between Jake Garcia and me. He understands he's a big boy.
Fans get silly. Like, you don't think that conversation was had by Jake and his dad and his parents? Come on, dude. What do you think? They're all sitting there going, well, okay, the other kid kicked ass. There's probably a chance I don't start. Should I stay here or not? You think that wasn't discussed? And guess what, fans, that you're so ultra sensitive? You better be grateful that Manny asked it, because now you know what the kid is thinking.
Right.
Because you did not know, and you want to fool yourself thinking, oh, he didn't think about that. He's not thinking about that. He's just thinking about being a king.
Right.
No, dude, he's thinking about his opportunity, his chance. Not TVD's chance, his chance. Come on. So
Absolutely.
It's a great job. You did your job, dude, like always.
Oh, yeah. But hey, listen, I didn't sweat it too much.
I know.
I was kind of laughing at the whole thing because it's like, I wonder, like, do the fans think that he's just oblivious to it, that I'm bringing up some subject that he hasn't thought about? Obviously, I mean, but listen,
by the way, his parents and Jake, they want you to know that. They want everybody to know that, because they already had that conversation with the coach already. Because I'm sure the coach already had that conversation with him about where he stands and all of that. So it's good for you now, because they actually brought you in to that conversation now. So you know where everybody stands.
Right.
It's really important, actually.
And again, this is where a guy like John Ruiz, Mr. NIL himself, helps out, because he actually signed Jake to a $60,000 deal this year and $85,000 next year. So there's plenty of financial reasons for him to stick around beyond this season. So, but we'll see. I mean, listen,
150,000 reasons why to stick around. Okay.
Hey, listen, but in the end, though, I mean, NIL or not, these guys, the biggest issue, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I told you tampering is going to become the biggest issue in college football.
Oh, for sure.
That is going to be the issue that everybody's talking about, because that is the next story. It's, how are these guys getting picked off of other schools to go to Alabama, Ohio State, and you know, how why all of a sudden are they entering the transfer portal? Who's involved in that process? What money are they being promised? What are they being promised? So that'll be the next story that we're all sort of talking about in college football. But you know, Jake, genuinely, and we talked about this on the show last season, to me, you see him on the sideline, he likes being around his teammates.
Yeah,
he likes being at Miami, and that's an important storyline, because if Mario's going to keep this thing going beyond 2022, he needs Jake Garcia on this team. He needs him to be the quarterback in 23.
By the way, that's what used to happen at the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Guys stayed no matter what, because they knew once they got an opportunity, they were going to get drafted anyway. And so if you show out, and even if you're as a second guy, that guy's going to get injured. That guy's going to move on the next year. You're going to get your opportunity. Even if it's only for a year, that window will be enough for you to display your skills to get you elevated into the draft and at a high position. That's how it used to be. because what they were doing was fighting for that opportunity. And when they got it, they knew that it was the catapult. That was not the case here for the last 20 years, practically, that nothing was guaranteed anymore. Now you've got an opportunity to kind of get that going again, that if Jake is really good, okay, when TVD leaves, and maybe it's after this season, Jake gets his opportunity the following year, and he'll have 2 years, right, of an opportunity, correct?
Right. He'll have 2 years left. Yeah.
So more than enough time to establish himself as the man and move on.
Right. And then you got Ja'Cory Brown, who arrived on campus. I've written a ton about him since he's been
and he'll probably be redshirted this year anyways.
Oh, and he looks good, man. Let me tell you, he's a big kid. He's got a good arm. I like the way his feet move. I'm like, you know what? They're set up, man. If this kid pans out and Ponce, Frank Ponce gets to work with these guys, I think they're set up well at the quarterback position. And that's such a big part of this all in terms of having success. So, yeah, they're set up well with what they got there.
Anything? I know it's kind of the downtime right now, but because of the stupid transfer portal, anything on the player front?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I wrote this yesterday. There were 15 kids out this spring because of injury or surgery or other reasons, and I think you're probably going to see a handful of those guys on that list that haven't played a ton. Those are guys that potentially could be on the transfer portal by summer. So we talked about it. There's too many guys on this roster as it is. You're over the scholarship limit once the rest of the arrivals come this summer and the fall, and so I think people always ask me the question, Manny, who do you think is going to leave? Look at that injury list and look at the guys that didn't play a ton and do the math. And you can figure it out. Okay. Right. I think so there's that. And then, what positions do they keep adding? Again, it comes down to best available and whether or not Mario thinks those guys can help him. He's just not going to take a guy to take a guy. I know that. He's really got to feel like whatever they're bringing in here can contribute, because he's got some good young players that he likes, that he wants to develop and work with. So,
and he can be a little bit more selective right now, right? At this point, he can
absolutely.
Absolutely. Maybe he could get to the point where Manny Diaz wanted to get to. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Looking at the roster yesterday and what they had out there, it sucks that you got two offensive linemen that are coming off surgery that still aren't ready to go, in Jalen Rivers and John Campbell, because those are two guys that are going to be competing for offensive line spots. But it allows you to get a guy like DJ Scaife back out at tackle to see if you want to put him there or keep him at guard, where he was an all-ACC second-team guy last year. You get a look at an Usman Treyarch, Cleveland Reed, all these guys that have kind of been, 7th, 8th, 9th guy in the rotation in the offensive line. Because of injuries and departures, now those guys are going to get a ton of snaps this spring, and you see whether or not it's worthwhile keeping them. You're going to see the Oregon kid that they got that squats over 700 pounds, the Samoan Logan Sapolu kid. He's going to play either center or guard most likely. So you're going to get a chance to see these guys in the spring, and we'll see where they are in their development. Linebacker, it's a shame Chase Smith isn't ready, because he was a really talented freshman that I had big expectations and hopes for this year, but he's, again, dealing with that injury, that shoulder that he hurt late in the year. So he's not going to be out there taking snaps at linebacker, but you'll get an opportunity to see Avery Huff, a kid who's been here for going on 4 years now. What has he got? The previous coaching staff couldn't do anything with him. Can they get Avery Huff ready to play, to be a contributor? He's super athletic. So you see a Corey Flagg, his development from year 2 to year 3. So, you'll get to see something out of the spring, but I also think because of injuries, there are some areas where you're going to be limited in being able to say, well, I think this position going into the fall. I think because of injuries, there's going to be some unanswered questions following the spring.
All right, good stuff. Is there? I don't think I've seen anything. You write anything about this? Anything on the Ruiz and the stadium stuff and all that?
We talked about it briefly. I went to his office building last Friday in the middle of Coral Gables, where he's got 60,000 square foot office, over 100 people working there, and they filmed a commercial with Tyler Van Dyke and 5 offensive linemen. I'll be writing about that soon. But we talked a little bit about the stadium. I mean, look, he's zeroed in on Tropical Park. That's where he feels that it's going to be built. And the way he looks at it, it's beyond the stadium. You know, he thinks there's a lot of different things you can build there from in terms of a sports complex, entertainment. He wants to maximize the property there and turn it into a world-class facility. So I'll have something on that in the story once I finish writing it. Today I actually was in St. Augustine over the weekend with my family, so I didn't work this weekend. I was with them, but after covering practice yesterday, that's my assignment today. Get in and finish that story. But I can tell you, as far as the stadium's concerned, you know, he very much wants to be a part of that and that's his vision for that property. Whether or not he gets there, we'll see. But I think you know, if he can make it happen, he's gonna try to make it happen.
Would be cool, man. Would be cool if he can make it happen. All right, follow him on Twitter. And you saw Jay talk about his article yesterday and all the other articles. Subscribe to The Athletic, folks. You can get a lot of great insight there locally and nationally from The Athletic. And follow him on Twitter like I and many others do. And Manny_Navarro. Manny, appreciate you, my brother. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, Big O. Take care.
You got it, baby. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. Don't forget, folks, if you're looking to protect your home or family, right there, that's it. Alarmo. You got to get Alarmo for your home. Right there, Sloman Shield, the Sloman Shield. Yeah, baby, 1-800-ALARM-ME. We have a link below here in our YouTube page. You can check it out. And the first 40 Big O listeners right now, we are going to give you a free doorbell camera. You're going to love it. In fact, yesterday somebody was, I loved it. No, it wasn't yesterday. It was Sunday. No, it was Saturday, actually. It was Saturday. So somebody comes to deliver a package, and I'm watching television, right? And so the dogs start going crazy. My two big dogs obviously attack the front door and want to eat you alive. So I get on the doorbell camera and I say, hey, just leave the package there. I'll be there in a second. And I was watching something. I think I went like a half hour later or whatever. But that's what I love about the doorbell camera. I can see who's there. I love that, man. And we've got cameras on the outside also. So it's all connected to your mobile phone. So if you're away from the house, you can keep up with everything. Anybody, even if they're approaching your door, you can see who's approaching your door. And when we're away from the house, we have a camera inside so we can keep track of the dogs and stuff like that. So, it's just in case. Maybe you have an older person in the house, and you want to kind of keep an eye on them, or dogs or cats or whatever kind of animals you have. That's why you're going to love the Sloman Shield, man. It's going to protect your home, your business, your family, your pets, your house, everything around it. You never know. Maybe one of your outside cameras catches something crazy that can go viral for you too. Sloman's Home Shield, folks. Do it right now. 1-800-ALARM-ME. We're going to give you a free customized home security system, professional installation. When you use our low-cost central station monitoring, you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. All you got to do is dial 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. And get a little Alarmo for your home and your business at Sloman's Shield, baby. Slomans.com is the website. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? What was I going to tell you? Good stuff by Manny. Really looking forward to the Canes season, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It really is going to be a lot of fun. Panthers last night, they defeat the Sabres. Remember, at 1:00, we're going to talk to George Richards. All right, so we'll talk every Tuesday now at 1 o'clock. All right, it is the locksmith.com, Miami, Florida Panthers report. It's our lockdown report. All right, the lockdown report brought to you by Lenny the locksmith. So, and by the way, go to the website, lennylocksmith.com. So if you get locked out of your home, your car, you can make some keys. Lenny Locksmith is obviously a big supporter of the show. They watch the show. They're also sponsors. So, and they got 10 locations. 10, dude. By the way, if you're in Orlando or Tampa, they've got a location. Okay. Jupiter location. They've got one in Arizona too. I believe in Phoenix, I think it is. But they've got a whole bunch of locations here in South Florida, North Miami, all that. So West Palm. So if you are anywhere in South Florida, they will take care of you. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, they will take care of you. So please reach out to lennylocksmith.com to bail you out. So our Panther lockdown segment will be at 1 o'clock. Great job by the Panthers last night, 6-1 over the Sabres. They are 38-13-5. What a record, man. What a record. That is crazy stuff. So Aaron Rodgers signs a 4-year, $200 million deal. And I was thinking about this. It's got to suck to be Jordan Love. Your career as a Packer is over. They basically admitted that they made a mistake with Jordan Love. Right? Because if you're trading Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco, then that means you're convinced that Trey Lance will become the guy. But if you're signing Aaron Rodgers to a 4-year, $200 million deal that is just going to cripple your cap for years to come, and yes, I know he's a great, great quarterback and all that stuff, but man, that's a hell of a commitment. But it also says what we did with Jordan Love was a mistake. Look, I'm not here to pass judgment on Jordan Love. I know he played very little and he played terrible, but I can't judge the kid on a couple of games. Maybe he is terrible. But the Packers are telling us he's terrible. The Packers are telling us, yeah, no, we've seen enough behind the scenes and no, we made a mistake. This is not the guy. And we're doing anything we can now, and we're going to give Aaron Rodgers a contract that we don't even know if he can live out the contract, but whether he does or doesn't, it's going to hurt us for a couple of years cap-wise. Crazy stuff, man. I know it's Aaron Rodgers and you got to keep him, but when you push Joe Montana out, it's because you had Steve Young. When you push Peyton Manning out, it's because you had Andrew Luck. So when this has happened in the past, in the history of the NFL, when I've watched it happen, it's because they're pushing one guy out because they have the other guy to replace him. No, yeah, we'll trade Drew Brees. We have Phillip Rivers. The league is littered with all those examples that you get the guy and you're good pushing away the guy that was here or whatever. You're good. You're moving on. So if you're not willing to let Aaron go, as quirky as he is, as all the crap that's gone on with Gutekunst and him, all this says is that Gutekunst and LaFleur, they made a mistake with Jordan Love. That's what this tells me. This tells me that, they have no hope for Jordan Love at all. 4-year deal. It's over. The guy's been there for 2 already. So he'll be a free agent in 3 years. And really in 2, right? Because you don't even pick. Well, you do. It's a first rounder, so you get 5 years. That's true. So you'll have 5 years, but what are you going to do at that point? He would have never played. You don't even know if he can play. And by signing Rodgers for 4 more years, you're basically saying, yeah, the Jordan Love era was over before it even started. So, yes, I know Aaron Rodgers is great. I know he's a Hall of Famer, and it makes sense for the Packers to re-sign him and all of that. But having said all of that, you just told me you made a mistake with Jordan Love. That's what that told me right there. Because I've watched it in the history of the NFL. And when they hit on it, they move on. And they don't care if you're Joe Montana or Peyton Manning. They're ready to move on. Okay? The light can go on and you can have a good season like Drew Brees did, and they're still telling you, see ya. We've got Phillip Rivers. So, crazy stuff, man. The only guy should be jumping for joy besides Rodgers is LaFleur. Rodgers makes that guy look like a great coach. Well, Rodgers is going to make any coach look good, my brother. I mean, you got a great coach, he's going to make your life a lot easier, man. So it's not just a LaFleur thing. Do you like the guy in Dallas? Because he was in Green Bay and won a championship because of the guy that's playing quarterback. So if you think Mike McCarthy's some great stuff, then okay, that's different. But if you don't think Mike McCarthy's much, well, that's because Aaron Rodgers helped him win a championship. Let's see. What else do we have here? I imagine Stafford gets 40 to 45. Yeah. Yeah. So all you guys are saying Flo wanted Jordan Love. Is that what you're saying now? You guys will tie him to every quarterback that's out there. What else do we have here on the show? Oh, by the way, on Cash App and Venmo, let's see, a couple folks made a donation, so I want to point them out. Gregory Williams, he made a donation. Thank you, sir. And it says love the show. Keep it up, brother. Fins up. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. On Cash App and Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. And on Venmo also, we had a couple of donations. Let me make sure where we at here. Where are they at? Here we go. Armando Swain, thank you, sir. He says, Brett Dennen is his name. Knowing you must like music. Check him out. He's not hard. Okay, Brett Dennen. Okay, thank you for the heads up. Brett Dennen. I will check that out. And Ho Yoon, thank you, man, for the love. He says, happy Tuesday. You're the best. I appreciate it. No, sir. You're the best for watching, supporting, and donating. Thank you very much, as always, for helping us grow any way that you can, man. Let's see. What else do we have here on Le Programme? Oh, yeah. You know what? Let me check the Welch and Rayom text. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get ready for hour number 3. In hour number 3, we're going to have Omar Kelly at 12:15. We will have George Richards at 1 o'clock. It's already 12:04. Let's take a quick break. Hour number 3 is next.
When you're ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Sports Grill. Good food, good drinks, good friends. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealership in the Southeast United States. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The FLPD is hiring. Go to FLPDjobs.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, 0 transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Number 3 of the program. Couple reminders. Thursday, we are at Hialeah Park, second floor poker room, 10 to 1. Friday, we're at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines from 10 to 1. Saturday, we're at Smoke Inn in Pompano. Let me make sure I give you the address the right way. 4640 North Powerline Road. I've been there. It's a really, really nice cigar bar. And there's a new Perdomo Cigar Lounge opening up. There's going to be Nick Perdomo will be there, so you can meet Nick. You can meet a real star there in Nick. I'll be there with you, hanging out with Nick. We'll be broadcasting live there at 1 to 3, right around there. You know me, I might go a little longer. You never know, but it'll be at least 1 to 3. We'll be on there. So those are the reminders. Also, Omar Kelly coming up at 12:15. George Richards coming up at 1 o'clock today. Tomorrow, Ian Rappaport will make his debut. I will come on tomorrow at 8:45. We'll toss it over at 9 o'clock to the Sloman's Inside the Paint show. And at 10:10, Ian Rappaport will make his debut as our weekly national insider here on the program. Not the last insider we're going to add on a national level. We're going to add more also. We're going to make this a complete program. You're going to get your local, you're going to get your national stories. It's all going to be there for you. So all of those reminders. And by the way, David Dwork will come on Thursdays at 1 o'clock for our Panthers Lockdown segment, brought to you by ALennyLocksmith.com. There you go. Now it's time for our KSDT Sports Business Report. All right, the Sports Business Report brought to you by KSDT, the CPAs you're going to need for home, for work. Doesn't matter, personal or business, you want to call KSDT CPA. They will elevate your business and they will help you, of course, get your taxes straight. And if you're like me, also investing in crypto, you know, a lot of CPAs, a lot of accounting firms, they're not going to know much about crypto. So make sure you get a CPA that has some information and some knowledge about it. Well, guess what? They've got a crypto department at KSDT. So if you're also a crypto investor and you've got to do your taxes, KSDT CPA, they will help you, baby, going places. All right. You know, this is the business of sports, and sometimes the business of sports is kind of crazy. And when it involves Antonio Brown and Kanye West, it's always crazy. So we told you about this story that Antonio Brown's talking to Kanye West and they want to buy the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos are going to be up for sale. We've talked about this here even on the Sports Business Report. We've talked about it, how they're looking. The NFL would like a minority. Well, Antonio Brown is out there and just told a media outlet, hey, tell Roger to call me. Because Antonio Brown knows that the only way he'll ever get on an NFL field again is if Kanye West owns a football team. So Antonio Brown has hooked his wagon to Kanye West. And so Kanye's worth about $1 billion. He would need some investors, other investors and all that. But the question is, who are the investors that would be willing to get involved with Kanye? And Kanye is going to want control. And, you may have to partner up with people that have more money than you. Are they going to allow Kanye West to run a football team? Would you allow Kanye West to run anything? Okay? I get it that he makes his money on his music, and those of you that like his music and whatever, you get suckered into paying the crazy amount of money for concerts that he doesn't even attend, which is the weirdest thing. Whatever. And I've seen the rags he makes that are considered clothes and how much you got to pay for them, but whatever. But I wouldn't have Kanye run anything for me. Okay? But can you imagine? You probably got to hear him, preach or whatever for pregame. I mean, Broncos fans will be jumping off the bandwagon. As loyal as they are, those guys would do a good job of just absolutely alienating everybody. And what are the chances that NFL owners approve Kanye West as an owner of an NFL team? What negative number, how far can we go? Is it like negative infinity? Is that the percentage? So Kanye West and Antonio Brown are going hard after the Denver Broncos. That, my friends, is your KSDT Sports Business Minute.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
There you go. KSDT. Use them, baby. Let's see. 0% chance AV Kanye is affiliated with, zero. I'm with you, bro. Rodgers is the James Harden of football, great in regular season. Well, no, but he's got a championship, so he can't be a James Harden, dude. And they had a good team, but go look at that year. They had a whole bunch of guys that got injured. Now, he's a hell of a player, dude, and he won a championship in Green Bay. So you got to give him love. Look, no quarterback carries an entire franchise. You got to have players. You got to have a coaching staff. You got to have something to get there. And he had a pretty good team around him, but they also had a lot of injuries on the way to that championship that year. Go look at it. A lot of players, a lot of good names were on the IR for them, and they still won it. So Rodgers is special, man. He's a hell of a player. He can't do it by himself because if not, he would have won way more titles. You need a team. That's why Tom Brady's got several titles, because he had the coaching staff and he had the team. Obviously, he will make the winning plays you need, but other guys have to make plays too. If not, he would have won again this year in Tampa. But his team wasn't good enough, so he wasn't able to get it done. So let's not go too crazy on the criticism of Aaron Rodgers. I get it. He's kind of quirky. He's weird in a sense. It doesn't look like he's very good with relationships, obviously. I mean, one hot woman after another gets dumped by this guy. So I understand all of that, but the guy can ball, man. Guy can ball. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's get ready for a little Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
Omar Kelly. Yes, sir. EJDconstruction.com, Miami Dolphins Report. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. How you feeling?
Good, good. I guess you came back much better than Joe Shad. He got a fever and a nasty-ass cold and all that.
Oh, don't tell me that Joe got the Rona.
No. Apparently, it's not the Rona, but he got all messed up. So hopefully he'll be.
I was hanging with Joe too. I bolted though. I left early, so I feel great. I'm healthy. I'm happy.
Good.
Came back to my daughter's birthday party. Had a great birthday party, and I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Good. You didn't hang around Joe, so you didn't get polluted. Way to go, man.
I did hang around Joe. In fact,
not long enough to get polluted.
No, in fact, I sat next to Joe at dinner twice.
Wow, nice immune system. All right.
Yeah, baby, I'm doing all right over here.
Yeah, you got some shield.
You know what it is? I've always suspected it's the planes that get us sick.
Oh, for sure. Planes are disgusting, dude.
And on my way up, it was mostly media members and Dolphins people. So if half the plane's Dolphins people, they're tested, they're purified, they're clean.
Well, not anymore, right? They scrapped all the protocols now, so they're not doing that anymore.
They did that at the combine, though. So
they did. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, they did that at the combine, so they still had to go through it before the combine. But I also, because I booked my ticket so late, I sat in the back by the shitter on both flights. So nobody wants to sit back there.
No.
It is what it is.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not a good one. By the way, I was reading this earlier. What are the chances that Kanye West and Antonio Brown end up buying the Broncos?
0. I mean, here's the thing.
Can you imagine Kanye running a football team? It would be entertaining as hell, by the way, because it would be just.
They're unfortunately, and I think we've had this conversation. I don't know if there's a wealthy enough black person to actually.
Yeah, we had the conversation, but wait a minute, bro. I did not realize how much money Byron Allen has.
But it's still not enough.
I know, but at 2.4, he can still team up with somebody.
Yeah, remember, but that's not enough. The Broncos are probably going to go for something like, from what I heard, like 3.8 to 4.
No, more, 4 to 4.5 million. But here's the thing. The NFL only requires you to have 2.5 to 3 liquid. So
2.5 to 3 liquid. Okay. Byron doesn't have 2.5 to 3. Byron's full valuation is 2.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you team up with 2 other people, then you probably have the liquid money, and then you can then borrow the rest, which is what they normally do after.
Do they really get to borrow money to be an NFL owner? That's crazy.
Well, a portion there. I think they're going to allow you to like maybe 30% of the price that you can borrow.
I got to look that up. I can't believe you should. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be able to borrow money to buy a professional franchise. That's like the elitist of elitist things in the world to do. You shouldn't be like, why can't we borrow money?
Omar, they use that as they twist it around as a positive for them on the taxes and everything else. That's why. So there's a method behind the madness.
Wealthy people problems, bro. Wealthy people
exactly.
Problems.
Exactly.
Like, okay? I'm sorry, you shouldn't be allowed to borrow money to buy an NFL. Like, you're printing money at that point if you own an NFL franchise. Like, you shouldn't be able to borrow money to go do it. Like, that's not fair.
We had a guy running the country, was bankrupt like 4 or 5 times. So, I mean, give me a break, dude. I mean, it's just,
wow. I'm not even going to go there.
These are things that, but we don't play at that level. They
sure
know
don't.
how to play at that level
I'm
with
trying
the
to avoid
taxes
going
and the
bankrupt
laws
one
and all
time.
that stuff, dude. They get away with all that.
I'm trying to avoid going bankrupt one time. Like, these guys get to go bankrupt like 4 or 5 times.
Right, exactly. But we don't have the luxury that they have. They go bankrupt strategically. We go bankrupt and life is over, bro.
You kind of get to start over. You can just say, those debts, they're no longer mine.
Yeah,
7
but these
years.
mofos start over, and they start over with millions in the bank in another bank somewhere in the world. That's the problem, bro. We don't get that start over money that they get. Somehow or another, they rigged it that they have some start over money somewhere else, man. That's good stuff. All right. So, you put the champagne bottle away this morning when you heard that Gesicki got tagged? Did you walk around like all slooping down?
Listen,
depressed. How bad was it for you this morning when you heard Gesicki got tagged? Take some Prozac or something. What happened? Talk to me.
I knew it was likely going to happen. Here's the thing: was he going to get tagged? Yes. Is he going to file an appeal to designate himself as a receiver? Yes. So people thinking, oh man, Gesicki at $11 million is a bargain. No, it's Gesicki at $18.5 million. And then you're like, wait. I didn't agree that.
Yeah.
But arbitrator is going to force them to meet in the middle. Gesicki's going to end up making $14 million. And I'm sorry, but if you tell me that I'm going to pay $14 million for Mike Gesicki, I can tell you I can find better and still have to go get a real tight end. My argument to you is I can find better usage for my money. So this is just Dolphins doing Dolphin things. And I just don't think it's good business.
Well, first of all, we don't know if they're really going to pay 14. So we have to wait to see what they pay, because if it ends up at 10,
based on the
12,
criteria,
are you going to complain?
And I've looked it up extensively.
I know you wrote about it, by the way.
Based on the criteria.
You remember when you wrote that article?
Yes. Gesicki had you know what tipped me off on the article? When Gesicki had this real smug attitude and personality that the Dolphins had turned him into a wide receiver. I was like, wait a minute. Like, why is he celebrating this? And then I dug into it and looked at it and like, holy crap, he's outsmarted them and they've cost themselves $4 million doing this.
By the way, how long ago was that? How long ago did you write it? Because I'm sure you forgot when you wrote it.
I tweeted out this morning. I wrote it in June, and I wrote it in December or January.
But I told you he'd forget when he wrote it.
No. I wrote it. I kept it. I tweeted it out this morning. I wrote it in like January. Like,
oh, that is awesome.
Listen,
your memory sucks, bro. It's awesome.
My memory does suck. Yes, I do. I told you I got Alzheimer's in my family. You're touching a sensitive subject here, bro. Like I'm real scared. As I get older, it just gets worse. Soon I'm gonna like forget my way home and stuff like that, and it's gonna be bad.
Don't say
that. And people think I have something against Mike Gesicki. I want Mike Gesicki to win. I always want every single player. I want him to win his arbitration and get as much money. If you tag me, you're going to have to pay for the tag. If I'm Mike, I sign that thing tomorrow. I say, as long as it's conditioned on the appeal, because if conditionally based on the appeal, I sign that thing tomorrow. $11 million. You owe me maybe 18.5, realistically $14 million 1 year. Like, he's going to make 3 times in 1 year what he's made the first 4 years of his career. Like, I do that tomorrow. But it just makes bad sense for the Dolphins from jump. One, as you know, because you've been talking to me forever on this situation, why do you draft Mike Gesicki and then go draft Durham Smythe because you know Mike Gesicki can't block, when you could have just took Dallas Goedert, or you could have just took Mark Andrews? Gesicki was the second tight end drafted in that class. You had the pick of everybody in the league, and you chose a tight end that you knew could not block. And still,
let me ask you something. Was that a Gase thing? Did he
no.
want him? No? Okay.
Greer has to take ownership for it. And
Greer has to take ownership, but he wasn't really like completely in charge that year.
No. That was his first draft. It was his first. It was his maybe his second draft. It was his responsibility. Greer will tell you.
But it was still Gase and Tannenbaum there that year.
But Greer will tell you, drafts are mine. I take ownership. He takes ownership for the Charles Harris.
He's going to tell you that, but he's not going to tell you that
he's
somebody.
A stand-up guy. He's
not going to throw other people under the bus, dude.
That's
he's
true.
Not
That's true. That's true.
So if Tannenbaum forced him to, like, I'm told that Jakeem Grant was Tannenbaum.
Jakeem Grant was Ross.
No, well, I'm told it was Tannenbaum,
but it was Ross.
But Tannenbaum apparently loved Jakeem Grant, and
Ross loved Jakeem Grant. Tannenbaum,
so you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't think Chris Greer, if a pick was good or bad, he's not going to, especially if it's bad, he's not going to throw somebody else on the bus. He'll just lie on the sword himself and say, "No, I'm in charge of the draft and all that stuff." When we really know he wasn't completely in charge in those days. Here he is now.
Yeah, that was his 1, 2, 3. That was his third draft.
Yeah, with those guys. Yeah.
And I believe it was his first draft no, it wasn't his first draft as the GM in charge.
No, it was his, you were right the first time. I think it was his third with
It
those
was
guys.
his third draft as the GM.
With those guys, yeah. With those guys, yeah.
And the draft after that was the one where he was in full power.
Right. Yeah, full power, except he gave flow. So now here's where he's got to, hopefully he's not doing this, which
we got to stop with the Chris Greer can't keep passing the buck, baby.
That's over now. That's over now. He made his coaching change. So they're going to take all the heat now. That's it, dude. It's all there. It doesn't matter who makes what pick now anymore because you made your coaching change. So that means he takes the blame. Okay, so now the rest of the blame from here on out, or credit, will go with the front office. Absolutely. Whether you like it or not. That's just the way it's going to happen now.
And I just think that this was a bad decision from this standpoint. Either you're going to have to re-sign Durham Smythe, which I'm not really that in favor of, or elevate Hunter Long, which I could be all right with, or you got to go spend money and get a real tight end.
Because I think the second one. I think you nailed it on the second one.
And if it is Hunter Long, okay, all right. This is why you invested a third round pick in him last year. So let's see what it do. What it do, baby? Let's see.
If he does end up being a blocker plus a pass catcher, then all of a sudden that helps you create some mismatches there too.
Absolutely, no question.
He's not on the line just blocking, and then that defense has always got to worry about him also taking off.
But do you know that in the wide zone offense, which is what they are going to run, it's outside zone. So most of your running lanes are from the guard to the tight end, unless there's a cutback, whether it's left or right. And that tight end's got to block. That tight end's got to block. It's not a maybe, let's hope he can, and I know Cameron Brates has played in that. Jordan Cameron has played in it. But this is not play here. And you're now saying to yourself, we're bringing Mike Gesicki in, and I found it cute that they think that they could teach him how to block. It's very glaringly obvious going back to
I talked about this with Cam. I don't think they're going to make him block like what you're thinking.
No.
I think they're going to make him block or make him better in the open field. I think he'll be offline, and then when he blocks in the running game to help out, it'll be corners, it'll be safeties, those kind of guys. Line to handle defensive ends and linebackers.
Listen, go back and watch Saquon Barkley's film at Penn State. This is where I discovered Mike Gesicki. I was reviewing Saquon Barkley's film at Penn State as a runner when he was just an unbelievable back. And then I realized, man, this tight end that they've got, he is a liability. He is just an absolute nightmare because he is a problem in terms of on running plays. He played with the best running back in college football and was glaringly horrible and just horrendous.
Right. And
then got to the NFL, was horrendous, has gotten better and improved and became bad. And now this coaching staff,
But this will be different. This is not what he does.
How is it different? He was still blocking cornerbacks.
Because he's going to be on the outside. It's not inline where he has to deal with D linemen or pass rushing linebackers.
Those guys, the same thing. They've always used him in that role, and he's still been bad.
But Omar, he can't handle those guys. But I think he'll be able to stand in the way of cornerbacks and safeties out in the open field to help the running game. I think that's what he'll do. I think
you'd have to show me that film, and it doesn't exist.
Well, of course not, because he's never been in this offense.
No.
But now being in this offense, they'll put him in that position to have to block out in the open field because they'll use him as a big receiver, like you've been pointing out for 2 months.
Okay, if he's used as a big receiver, as a slot, can he create separation against a nickel cornerback?
He doesn't have to create a ton of separation because he has size and height and jumping ability.
I am dying to see how they use him.
Oronde Gadsden had no separation and he played outside.
Come on, bro. That's two different animals. Oronde's a beast. Is Mike Gesicki a beast?
Yes, as a pass catcher in the air. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Omar, he almost pulled off a hat trick with one hand in a game. Who does that?
Great.
Who does that?
Goodly.
How is that not beastly, my friend?
Okay.
You got to get off the blocking thing. The dude is a stud pass catcher. You can't say that at all?
Hell no. If he was a stud pass catcher, why would you be using Mac Hollins in the red zone and not Mike Gesicki?
They don't even use Mac Hollins. What are you talking about?
They use the only
sideline eating hot dogs with Mark Sanchez more than I saw him on the field.
They use him in the red zone.
You picked up on that one. You got that one. You got the Mark Sanchez hot dog thing?
Of course I got the Mark Sanchez hot dog.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Listen,
the prediction was that I would stump you on pop culture also on this segment, but go ahead.
Where's the pop culture reference? I didn't miss it.
I tried on that one there, but you caught it. So
no, of course. Yeah, come on, Mark Sanchez. That's not pop culture. That's sports.
Okay, well.
You'd have
in your case, that's as close as it gets to pop culture.
I like pop culture. You
don't know anything about it, but you like it.
No. I was researching today. Something happened with Britney Spears and like some beach shots, and I was trying to find it.
She's naked all the time on IG. Naked all the time on IG. Just follow her, Britney Spears. Every day, naked pictures. Ever since she got her money, we get skin. That's it.
Hey man, let Britney do her. Ever since she got her freedom, be correct.
All right, she got her money, her freedom.
I don't think no grown ass 30-something-year-old woman should be controlled by her daddy. I don't care how much she's worth.
No, that son of a bitch just wanted free ride. That's all it was. Like a lot of those parents that are, juicing up these kids and taking them all over and all that because they just want a free ride.
Wow, are you really coming after these optimists and what are the AAA balls and these
yes, and mother, teams. Father, kid actors and athletes and musicians and yes, there's plenty of these parents that are sons of bitches that all they want to do is ride the kids' coattails. Yes, and yes.
Ride the kids' coattails to what?
Dinero. Pay off my house so I can live a lavish lifestyle and all that stuff. You know how many of these parents end up ripping off their damn kids as they're growing up and making money off them while they're acting or they're in sports or music or whatever? Come on, dude. Britney Spears' dad is what we call in Spanish un descarado. All right?
Descarado. What's that mean?
Descarado. That is a dirtbag that is basically stealing money from their child. That's basically what I'm calling it. Okay. That's what that guy wanted. That guy wasn't looking over Brittany. He was looking over himself, getting some free money because she was making all the cash.
He was protecting the cash cow of the family.
By using the cash. So anyway, so now that she got her cash, we get the ass. So, it's all good. It's all good. She's out there naked left and right on Instagram for all of you out there in her glory.
She must be hidden on my timeline because I could have sworn I follow her, but I'll make sure I hang up and follow Britney Spears.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not following her if it's not coming up on your time because it's almost every day, dude.
I could have sworn I followed the last time she started going crazy. But, it is what it is.
When did she stop going crazy? I'm sorry. I must have missed it.
Hey, listen, everybody's got their issues.
All right. So Agba, what happens here? He tests the market. Is he gone? What you think?
Yeah, man. If you make it this far, and I had this conversation with Agba. If you make it this far and you have your health, what's the point of actually signing before free agency starts unless the Dolphins are offering you the most money or you walk away with the most money because of the state in taxes? Like, Drew, Drew's a good agent. Drew's talking to 32 teams about probably 70 guys. He's had every conversation he needs to have about but he knows where the money's at.
He must have gotten some really good vibes this week in the combine. And that's why they're like, yeah, we're going to test free agency.
No. Why wouldn't you test free agency?
And by the way, Omar, you can't blame him. He's 27. This is his last big deal.
This is it.
Yeah, he won't get another big deal.
If he walks away without $30 million guaranteed, he's failed.
Yeah. We talked about this yesterday. While he had to prove it, those 2 years here kind of ruined him getting 2 big contracts.
I don't shed a tear for him. He walked away with $15 million.
No, but Omar, he's going to walk away with more than that per year
now. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So and plus guarantees that he did not have.
Yeah. I'm talking $30 million guaranteed. Yeah.
But my point is that if he would have, actually like been a star during his first contract, these 2 years would have been part of a monster deal already. So he has to be very careful here. And he has to sign the best deal possible.
That's not fair because I think he was a productive player in Cleveland. The scheme changed, management changed. They traded him to Kansas City. He was a starter there. Just didn't ball. Walked away with a 52-year, $15 million deal. Got every cent of it from the Dolphins. I think he's doing well for himself. And double down and is maximizing that. With 2 9-sack seasons, you look up at his numbers, and arguably his numbers right for the last 2 years are right up there with anybody in the league but Aaron Donald and the brothers, the
Boza, no, and our boy from FAU,
the Trump brothers.
No, and our FAU boy has been a monster the last 2 years. He has like 17 and 14, 31 sacks in the last 2 years.
FAU boy. Woo.
Plays for the Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah. Super Bowl. He had 14 sacks this year. He signed a big free agent deal with them coming out of the Saints. So he has made a name for himself. So he's but Agba did the pass batting stuff that that became a thing, dude.
He just did it last year. I looked it up.
It became a thing last year for him. Like it became a weapon for him, dude. That was huge.
He's a good player.
How many did he bat last year? Like 6 or 7?
12.
12? Holy crap!
Yeah, I think he set an NFL record for his position, or something like that. I don't remember.
Wow, that's better than JJ Swat. That's pretty good. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had more swats than JJ in a year.
The second guy is the New Orleans Saints defense, Cameron Jordan or Jordan Cameron, whichever one I can never remember.
Right. It's the opposite of the tight end we had here.
There you go. Which Jordan Cameron? So Cameron Jordan.
They have Cameron Jordan. We had Jordan Cameron. If I'm correct. Right.
Who this position coach, this tight end coach was celebrating because he taught him how to block. And I'm like, okay, and that's a respectable victory. That is a respectable victory. He's a former basketball player who who became an adequate blocker. Let's see what he does with Mike Gesicki and Hunter Long. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. If I'm around, I'm gonna be happy to see what this team does.
You're more excited about the Dolphins staff or the UM staff?
Shit, UM. They got some real coaches over there. They got some. I was talking to
best staff since Jimmy Johnson's staff.
Probably, yeah. They got money, man. They got money.
That Butch Davis, Norv Turner, Dave Wanstead, the guy that won for LSU. Ogeron was there. Ogeron, Tubble, whatever, the one that
Tuberville,
the one's a senator.
I think Kehoe was there.
It was a sick staff.
Solinger, yeah.
Sick ass staff that Jimmy had. This is the second best staff I've seen to that. They haven't proven like those guys, but
it's always been about player development there. And I heard some things, man. At the combine, I was talking to a former UM guy who was just like he would go into the building and he'd sit down and he'd meet with the strength and conditioning coach. And he's like, the strength and conditioning coach is making up information about guys and half-assing it, and can't really give you a good report because he really doesn't have a rapport with the guys. And I'm thinking to myself, man, and he's like, this isn't what we were or how we built what we're doing or what we represent. And and I'm like, man, the days of Andrew Swayze are long gone.
Oh, yeah. That school lost its way a long time ago. But to their credit, they've done something we never, ever thought that they would do. They make a financial commitment to really compete. Dude, they have the largest budget in the ACC.
As they should.
Just think about that statement. No, they should not. They're a private school, bro. They really should not. They're lucky that they have a medical institution, part of their private institution, that is just absolutely phenomenal. That most small schools don't have that. But
it's
really,
funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that because when Don and Shalala bought Jackson, they were leaking money, and they weren't making the inroads. And I remember this because I was actually covering the team. And Hurricane fans were super critical, and they just didn't see the bigger picture. I mean, Don Shalala's focus was on curing cancer, not really, winning national championships. And I don't blame her for that. But now, fast forward, 15 years, and they're literally printing money. And she should be celebrated for that. I've always been.
Academically, she was a monster, bro. What she did for that university. She was amazing. She just wasn't committed to it on the sports side. But that's not
fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. During her reign, they built an on-campus basketball facility. They upgraded the baseball facility. They built on-campus practice facilities for the men's, for all the teams, volleyball, basketball. People don't realize this, but there was more to UM athletics than just football. And during her reign, it went from here for football to down here, not even in my screen for everywhere else, to at least here for everywhere else. And they've won ACC championships in other sports. Sometimes, and I understand football is the cash cow, but that's not the reason. Her commitment was not the reason that it took a downward turn. Bad hires, lack of financial commitment to the coaching staff, poor jobs that the coaching staff's done.
That's her job, dude. That they never really made a commitment.
Her job is to run a university. Program. That's the athletic director's job.
Well, but so is the people that are in place now. And the president said, no, we're going to do something we've never done. We're actually going to listen.
That's because the booster stepped up and wrote a big fat check.
And how do you think the baseball thing got done? It was A-Rod that gave that money, dude. It wasn't Shalala. It was A-Rod. But my point is, it's not so much to pick on Shalala, doggy, because Shalala follows Tad Foote and many others that they were never committed to football, and football overcame all that crap.
That's true.
The problem is the last 20 years, football became an enormous business, and now Miami could no longer compete the way they could. Now you legitimately have to spend money. You're not going to get the under the radar coach anymore.
Here's one of my favorite stories about when I realized college football was changing. It was the LSU bowl game, 2004, where they got beat up on the field, beat up on the field, and beat up in the tunnel.
Yeah.
That whole week, it was Peach Bowl. That whole week, I'm watching LSU's practices and facilities. They had a semi truck dragging, moving equipment up and down. A semi truck with LSU all painted out, pimped out, first class. had a U-Haul.
Yeah. But dude, what did Mike McDaniel compare the Dolphin facility to? An SEC facility.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. That's all
you need to know.
That was a good joke that I think went way over everybody else's head.
Oh, that's a joke with truth in it, is what it is. That's all. I mean, what are you gonna? You got to be an idiot to deny that the SEC is not the bomb. They are the bomb.
When Miami was upgrading their practice facility, and not even building their indoor facility, but just upgrading the HECT, they were getting themselves to the point that FSU was in 2000 and had renovated twice since. And that's just where college football was going and had changed to. And you couldn't keep up with that. You just you had to go through a rough patch. Even though Rick put the money down for the indoor practice facility, it just became an arms race. And it 10 years later, it filters up to the NFL.
Bubba, look what we're talking about now. We're comparing this staff to Jimmy Johnson's staff. Think about back then. If it was big business then, how much money would you need to keep that staff together?
No.
Would never happen. Would have never happened.
Everybody would have never. A name back then.
If college football was big business in the days of Schnellenberger and Jimmy and Erickson, we would never have celebrated those titles. We got lucky that it still wasn't big business in those days, so you could still compete. Once it became big business, that's when Miami was out of the picture forever until now. Until now. And I give them credit for that. I have to give them credit because they've never spent. It's not a Shalala thing. It's a thing. It's been like that since I was a child following this university. They've never, ever spent. They got by because they could, because they had the breeding grounds, and those coaches would come here and use it as a stepping stone to go somewhere else. USFL, NFL, whatever, because they knew you could do that. That's why they would come here. But then once it became big business, that's it.
Also, I think the landscape of college football changed to the point where, and we could do a whole show on this.
Oh, hell yeah.
Everybody is on TV now. You could go play at FIU and get to the NFL. You could go start at Buffalo for 3 years, get to the NFL. You don't have to sit and wait at UM to your redshirt junior year to go play.
You're right. You're right.
I could go to Georgia Southern, start right away, and make it to the league and be a first-round pick.
For sure. Deion's going to start doing that. Sanders is going to start doing that. Because he's going to get high recruits, and then they're going to get the showcase. They're going to get on TV, and eventually some of those HBCU kids, right? Is that right? HBCU,
historically black colleges and universities.
Yeah, some of those HBCU kids now will start getting drafted over the next couple of years because of what Deion's doing. So you are right.
Hopefully they got the resources and the facilities because
he's trying. I know that they're in the process of doing some voting to improve the stadium and all of that stuff. They love him. Like the government, I'm talking about the government people and the school people. So,
and listen, I'm an HBCU product. I know Jackson State. They've always been a thorn in our side. They're a state school. They have the funding. They have the resources. They have the infrastructure. Them and North Carolina A&T are the only ones that are up there that rival Florida A&M and all because they're state-funded schools. So I wish them the best because they truly deserve the spot. People don't realize most of the legends that came out of the HBCUs, the amount of people in the Hall of Fame from HBCUs when blacks could only go to historically black colleges and universities and were drafted in the NFL.
My favorite running back of all time is from Jackson State.
Jerry Rice. Yeah, Jerry Rice.
No, Walter Payton.
Yep.
No, that's Fort Valley State. Jerry Rice.
No, yeah, but I'm still HBCU.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
It's in HBCU.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Strahan's from an HBCU.
Oh, he is? I didn't know that.
Yep.
I had no idea. Really?
Yep. It's tons of guys, but I'm glad that that's happening. I'm glad that they're putting the investment into it. I'm glad to see UM put the investment into it. And yes, getting it back to the Dolphins. The Dolphins do have it. They scouted. I believe they scouted Clemson's campus, Clemson's facility, to model their facility after. So
makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
I'm writing a column on why the Mike Gesicki franchise tag is nothing but a Band-Aid.
Okay. All right, well, check it out and follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. More importantly, please subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Support Omar and all the great writers.
If I can plug it, plug anything you want. I did the I Am Athlete interview with Lil Wayne. I
saw that. I saw the tweet. I saw the picture of you and Lil Wayne.
Just a real interesting conversation from a guy who's been in music for 28 years. 28 years, Big O. Think about that. Think about watching rap.
Did you guys get heavily into the purple drink?
No, nobody drank the. He smoked the purple bud, but
no,
I don't think he. No, he wasn't.
He's not doing his. He's not doing his codeine mix anymore.
I don't think so. No, I didn't see him sipping on anything. He wasn't even drinking alcohol. He was just smoking weed and medical grade weed. He told an interesting story about how he doesn't share weed. He doesn't go puff up pass. He's like, I forget how to pass. I forget that I'm supposed to be passing. So if you want to smoke, I just hand you your own joint. Like
that's I mean, with all the germs out there, why would you want to share?
Shit. I'm not. Listen.
Thank the Lord you and Joe Shad didn't share one.
If I partake, I ain't sharing.
I'm not breathing your stink. All right, so leave me alone. Roll your personal. Stay alone. Leave me alone. All right.
Everybody roll their own personal stuff.
That's it. That's what it's all about.
It's enough oils out there. You can get your own pen.
That's it. Get your own pen. That's what it's all about. All right, follow him on Twitter. He'll be talking about pens and all kinds of stuff at Omar Kelly on Twitter and at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Much love. We'll catch you later in the week.
All right, talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. The great Omar Kelly.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
We'll have George Richards on at the top of the hour, so we'll talk all things Orky with him after the Panthers trash the Sabres last night 6-1. Man, impressive. So Aaron Rodgers gets a 4-year, $200 million deal. Jordan Love is screwed. Chris Godwin gets tagged by Tampa Bay. Dalton Schultz gets tagged by the Cowboys. What else do we have here? Anything else? Well, the Dolphins use a franchise tag on Mike Gesicki. The Packers now, report says they're expected to use the franchise tag on Devontae Adams. So there you go. Ooh, Jamison Crowder likely to hit free agency. That's an interesting name. Let me read that a second. So wide receiver Jamison Crowder signed a 3-year deal with the Jets. It's up, and it doesn't look like he's going to sign a new contract with the team to start free agency. DJ BM Ami II of the New York Daily News reports Crowder is expected to hit the open market when it starts on March 6th. Crowder opened with his Jets 78 catches in 2019. He missed 4 games the next year, took a pay cut in order to remain in the team. More injuries kept him out 5 games. He finished the year with 51 catches, 447 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, if this young man can, I know he's had a couple of injuries, but he's not really considered injury prone. I watched this kid not only with the Jets, but I watched him a lot also with Washington. He's a terrific slot player. So if you ever wanted to get a slot guy and move Waddle to the outside and not break the bank, Jamison Crowder might be that guy. That's not a bad thing if you want to move Waddle to the outside, because you won't pay a lot of money for him and you will pay some money for Amari Cooper. But you can actually get those 2 guys, move Waddle to the outside, use Crowder in the slot, and Cooper and Waddle on the outside. Oh, my God. That would be fun. Crowder's a nice little player. I like that kid, man. I like him. And I would imagine that the elevation of Braxton Berrios is probably costing him his job, because Braxton can play the slot. And by the way, so happy for Braxton. I hate that he's with the Jets, but he got drafted. I mean, he got selected out of the draft and then kind of struggled and had practice squad and cut and all that kind of stuff, and kind of had to work his way up. And then the Jets gave him a chance, and he had a really nice year last year and kind of broke through. And we all know that Braxton Berrios is one tough hombre, dude. And you could tell he's also mentally tough, that he's able to overcome the first couple of years, and that was nice to see. So maybe Crowder, that's not bad right there, man. A Jamison Crowder in the slot, and you put Waddle and Cooper on the outside. I kind of like that, man. I got no problem with that. Getting rid of everybody else. I'm keeping Mac Hollins, and you bring back Lynn Bowden, and you have Merritt and others competing for one more spot or something like that. And I think, if I'm correct, Crowder is also a returner. He can also return. Sharing is caring. Oh, I don't know. What am I supposed to share? Oh, you're talking about the toke puff puff pass. Okay, I got you. No sharing right now. You guys should not share. Those of you that smoke, okay, do not share right now, man. COVID is still out there. It's not prevalent. It's not monstrous. It's not out there, taking down a bunch of people right now. We're easing restrictions and all that stuff, but it's still out there. It's still possible for any of us to catch it. So we've got to be careful. John R. says, Crowder, Cooper, and Waddle. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Always like Crowder. He's dependable. I agree with you, Jason. If the Jets are going to let him go, that might be a guy that if you want to move Waddle to the outside. Okay. Now, if you plan on keeping him as a slot because you feel he might be able to take advantage, then you don't need Crowder. But if you want to move him to the outside, Jamison Crowder would definitely be an option for me for the Dolphins. And Wes Welker coaching him up and all that. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. Big O, is Hunter Long that bad? No, he's not bad, dude. It's just he had a whole bunch of guys in front of him. Hunter Long and Noah Igbenogany should not be judged at all. Those guys haven't played enough. It's not fair to judge those guys. Let's wait for them to play an entire season and a half, to get a really good feel for a player, man. We just can't do this because they played a game or two or spot duty like Hunter. It's just not fair to those young men. We got to give them some time. All right, the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 for the Welt and Rayom text lines. If you want to get in, as always, appreciate it. The Packers made the same mistake in Jordan Love as we did in drafting Noah. We both thought that they would replace a player we either thought they could beat out or just replace due to contract. No, actually, Noah was just drafted as a insurance policy if X had more knee injuries or any off-the-field issues. So it wasn't planned to replace him. It was an insurance policy just in case. Okay? Let me see. Big O, Toby from Newark, lifelong Dolphins fan from the 70s and a big fan of your show. There's one thing I don't know why you or any of your Dolphin insiders have brought up is when it comes to Mike Gesicki's situation and about us having the most money to spend in free agency this year. And if we bring in a bunch of free agents and lose Mike, then we won't get a compensatory pick because of the way the system is structured. That leads me to believe that the smartest way to do it is to franchise tag him. Well, that's what they did, my man. I guess you sent this in before they franchise tagged him. You also mentioned last week that you would love to see the Dolphins keep Kirk Merritt and see what he has to work with, but we failed to sign him into a futures contract, and he signed with the Saints. Yep. And don't sleep on Lynn Bowden Jr. The guy can definitely fit into the Deebo Samuel role. I'm not sleeping on him, but I'm not expecting him to be Deebo Samuel because it's just unfair to that kid. Deebo is a rare talent, and you should not expect that those kind of guys are common and they grow on trees because they don't play that position in high school or college to the NFL. So it's not something that is normal. So it's somebody that you have to get and then kind of experiment to create it. Now, maybe it's a copycat thing and people will start doing it. We'll see. All right, let's get into a little hockey talk. The Panthers last night did a number on the Sabres. It looks like, after that little 3-game skid, it looks like they got back on track. So let's talk to George Richards, baby. It is time for the Florida Panthers lockdown segment.
Time for the lockdown segment with Florida Panthers insider George Richards. This lockdown is brought to you by A. Lenny Locksmith Services. Count on them 24 hours a day. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com. Here's FloridaHockeyNow.com insider George Richards.
Hey, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is George Richards. And you can catch him now every Tuesday at 1 o'clock here on the program to talk a little Panthers hockey. Welcome to the family, George, officially.
It's good to be here, Big O. How are you, my brother?
It is great, my friend. I can't complain. I am loving it that we get to add a little permanent hockey talk to the show. They are the best in town. Although with the Oladipo thing, now the Heat are really going to give them a run for their money. But I got to tell you, man, it's going to be a lot of fun with our winter sports this year because both can win the title. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the Heat, you look at the Heat are what, second in the NHL behind Phoenix. The Panthers are right there at the very top. It's going to be an exciting spring and early summer here in South Florida. It's going to be a little warm going to that FLA Live Arena. Back to remember the old Miami Arena days?
Yes.
People are wearing shorts, sandals, and their Beezer jersey. That's kind of what the Panthers are hoping to do again this year in Sunrise.
That was a lot of fun, man, covering those teams back in those days, man. And that little arena, that place is so rocking.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get there now because we're, the average fan is starting to understand, holy shit, we got a really special hockey team in town. By the way, George, they really need to work on that offense. They struggle a little bit there scoring the goals. I mean, last night,
score, right?
61. What's 60? Come on, 6-1.
This team flips a light switch on and boom. I mean, if you watch that game last night, that first period, the Panthers didn't control the puck. They didn't create any offense. They were, not doing a whole lot. They have a 1-0 lead. You could see how ticked off they were going into the locker room there for the second period. They came out like their pants were on fire. And, that's what the Panthers can do. The Panthers can come at you in swarms. They were playing Buffalo. Let's not forget that. But poor Craig Anderson, he is a solid NHL goalie, even at age 40. Our buddy from Parkland, they gave him no help. Florida, but the Buffalo Sabres just did not know what to do with the Panthers there in that second period.
Yeah, that was awesome. 3 goals in that second period. They just absolutely exploded. By the way, just I hate to bring it up, but I have to. Lundell, do we know anything? Because that young man, wow, what a season that kid has had. He plays like a seasoned veteran, that dude. And it was kind of an awkward fall yesterday. So how is he? Do we know anything?
We don't know anything right now. The Panthers are in Pittsburgh right now. They're going to play the Penguins tonight. So no morning skate, no coach availability. Nobody's talking. Last night, Andrew Burnett said he didn't think it was serious, but again, not a doctor. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the Panthers, if the Panthers throw him on injured reserve, it's only for a couple games. Joe Thornton is ready to come back. It has been, I think, for a while. So we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, no roster moves or anything of the sort. So we'll just have to wait to see when we talk to Andrew Burnett later this afternoon.
He's been. What is
So
it about
good.
that young kid, man? What is it about him that he made such an easy transition?
Well, it helped that he played professional hockey as a teenager. Really, I mean, you look at the men's league in Finland. Same deal with Sasha Barkov. Florida was going to go with Seth Jones, the defenseman, in 2013. They needed a guy who could step in and play in the NHL. We didn't know the Panthers were for sale in 2013. They didn't have any money. They had no money. So they're like, well, we got to draft a guy that can play in the NHL. That's why they went with Barkov with the second overall pick. People forget about that. Because he'd been playing his whole, his whole teenage years as a professional hockey player in Finland. Same thing with Anton Lundell. He's baby Barkov. I mean, we had baby Jordan here in South Florida. Now we've got baby Barkov as well. So he's a very mature young man, very smart, cerebral player, terrific defensively. You watch him and Barkov on the penalty kill, and it's like watching synchronized swimming. They do the same exact things. It's fun to watch. Florida was really excited to get him when he went at number 12. They let him stay in Finland all of last year. They could have brought him to Florida last year. They felt like that wasn't the smart move. Let him stay where he was, continue to play, get all that experience. And he came in the summer. That was the plan, and the plan has worked out great. He has had a terrific rookie year.
It's been amazing, dude. By the way, I'm looking at the wire here, and I'm a little concerned now. We may have World War III coming. McDonald's is pulling out all 850 stores from Russia.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I don't think they can live without McNuggets.
Who can?
I'm not sure. I don't know if
I don't know that I can.
Yeah, I don't know if I can live
without
without
hot mustard sauce. You're good, bud.
Oh yeah, baby. A little
hot
McRib
mustard.
action. Those Russians probably like a little McRib and a vodka shot.
Never had a McRib, believe it or not.
Me neither, by the way. No, actually, no, that's not true. I did have one when I was like 14, like when it first came out.
Okay.
Yes,
I've had
old.
the
Yes, I'm that old. Stop it already. Yes,
the Dade County School McRib. Back in the day.
Oh yeah,
remember those? We used to get the McRib in junior high, and
that's
school.
true. That's true. I forgot about that.
No pickle, no onion, but still.
Right. Yeah. I live for the square pizza personally.
I love the Mexican pizza, that round one.
Oh,
that was good.
We didn't have that in my.
We had that, baby. Cooper City High.
We only had the square one. The square one was the bomb. The square, when you knew you were getting pizza, you brought the extra, like, what was it, 50 cents or something?
Something like that.
Something like that. Get that second slice.
Get the extra slice.
That is so good. All right. Yep. So Lundell, we don't know. The other thing that I was going to ask you about, and not that they go in thinking like this, George, but Bob and Spencer, and it's nice to have Spencer back, by the way. They don't have to necessarily be perfect with this offense, by the way.
Yeah, no.
That is one thing, because getting back to when I was a beat guy and I was going into the locker rooms back in the 90s. Yes, I'm old. Okay, stop it already. Anyway, going back into the locker rooms into the 90s, this was a team that couldn't score. So Beezer had to be perfect every night on his head. So, goalies don't have to be perfect right now. We don't need Bob from Columbus 4 years ago shutting down Tampa Bay.
But Columbus did, right? I mean, Columbus couldn't score. That's why they needed Bob to be Bob. Florida doesn't need that, really. I mean, it's going to come. There are going to be games, and we've seen Florida adapt to that lately. It's the regular season. It's an 82-game season. They need to adapt to certain ways of playing, and it seems like they can. I mean, this is a team, I think Goldie said it yesterday, this is a team that can light you up for 6. They can fight you if you want to get, if you want to get greasy at the end of a game or in the middle, whenever you want, they'll go. This is not a ballet hockey team. I mean, the Panthers are rough and tumble tough. They've got goaltending. They can play some defense. And
they remind me
5, 6, 7, 8 goals a night.
They remind me of the Kings that won the cup
couple years ago.
What was it, like 10 years ago?
Not even, 2014, 15. Yeah, the LA Kings, Daryl Sutter, the coach. Yeah, that was a very physical Los Angeles Kings team, but a very, very potent offense as well. They could get rolling.
That's kind of what the Panthers remind me of.
They'll take those 2 cups that LA got. Florida will take that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Damn right. And that's the other thing. What they've built is sustainable. And that's just absolutely enormous that you're able to do that. And then the additions, like we talked about Lindell, Duclair, yesterday. And that guy, that some bitch is clutch, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
there
are moments when you need something. Duclair happens to be the guy in that moment, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, Duclair has, really, really excelled here since he came to the Panthers. We talk a lot about the big name players on the Panthers, but look at some of the moves that Bill Zito's made, giving guys a chance to make a home here and with this team. And they've all just run with it, man. They've run with that opportunity, and I think that Anthony Duclair is one of the great examples. This guy was an all-star in Ottawa, and they didn't even give him an offer. He was a restricted free agent. He was their player. They didn't make him an offer. All of a sudden, the guy's a 23-goal scorer, free agent. Florida's a 6th team or whatever it is. He's found a home here. Carter Verhaeghe's found a home here. Sam Bennett. People in Calgary are still like, what's going on with Sam Bennett? He's the player in Florida that they always wanted him to be in Calgary. So you've got a bunch of guys here in Florida that are getting a chance.
How about Marchman?
Taking off Mason Marchman. Who knew about Mason Marchman? Undrafted player that Toronto thought might be some sort of project. But you know what? When somebody looks at you like a project, you're always a project, right? You're always looked at that way.
That's
Florida, we don't care who you are, what you did. We don't care where you were drafted. We'll give you a chance.
That's interesting. I never looked at it that way.
Right? But isn't that the way people look at you?
You're probably right.
Joe moved up from the mailroom. He's, he's worked his way up, but he's still Joe from the mailroom. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to go get that other job.
Right. He's still good effort Joe. That's how you look at him. Good effort Joe. He worked his way up there. Yeah. I
Charlie
get what you're
Hustle.
saying. Yeah. No, that's interesting. All right. Tonight, what do we expect against the Penguins, my brother?
Well, the Panthers, we were expecting a very close game because the first 2 times Pittsburgh and the Panthers have played, both games have been decided in overtime. Florida won here the opening night. They were down 4-2 in the 3rd period. Aaron Ekblad scores twice. Panthers get a Carter Verhaeghe goal. They win in overtime. Then they go to Pittsburgh a month later. Pittsburgh wins in a shootout. So we're expecting a very close game. Pittsburgh hasn't played since Friday night, so they were well rested. Florida obviously coming off the Buffalo game. So we might see some lines shifting here and there. Bob will be back in net tonight against the Penguins. So it should be a good one. It's against 2 playoff teams, 2 very good NHL teams. You got to think the Panthers are the better team. But playing in Pittsburgh on a back-to-back, that's sometimes a tall order, but Florida's been doing very well on the road. We'll just see if they can keep it going.
It looks like the crowds are getting bigger and more consistent now, right? In the arena.
Yeah, and Sunrise. Yeah, I mean, people are starting to take notice. I would look at, we'd have to talk to Goldie about this, what the ratings are like on television, because I think that's the better barometer.
You're
just
right.
because,
You're right.
if the ratings are, tripling, that means South Florida is really paying attention. And I think South Florida is. I mean, you can see the comments, and then there's just a lot of people picking up on this team. Like we've talked about Big O for years. There were a lot of Panther fans in town that they've been dormant, right?
Dormant.
They listen to the headlines on sports radio. The Panthers lost last night, 4-3 and over. They lost. Okay, done.
We're done.
Now they're hearing that the team's winning every night. So everybody, well, maybe I'll watch. Tomorrow night they're playing Boston. I'll watch. So I think things are starting to pick up a little bit with them.
This playoff run is going to be huge for this team. There's no doubt about it. I think this is the one that really bridges it, and then people will then get on the bandwagon, and that's how our town is. And then they'll finally figure out, like, wow, this is not a flash in the pan. This is like a really good franchise with great ownership. Holy crap.
Yeah, this isn't a Marlins situation. They're not going to have a fire sale next week,
No, this is a Heat situation.
This is
This is it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Good way of putting it. Yeah, they're building.
they're building a legacy also at War Memorial. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So they're entrenching themselves into this community. They've committed to long-term contracts. You know, they have the best of the best, whether it's for coaching or front office or facilities or whatever it is. Viola and Sifu have done everything first class, just like Mickey Arison. So it'll take time, just like it took time with the Heat. But now that they're doing it right, they're not chasing their tail anymore. Now they're going to start climbing, and the trajectory is going up now instead. So,
and this is now a destination, just like people want to play for the
Yes.
Miami Heat. People want to play for the Florida Panthers. Sure.
Exactly. I'm with you there. Hey, tell them about Florida Hockey Now before we let you go, my brother.
Yeah, Florida Hockey Now, the number one source of Florida Panthers news. Nobody covers the Florida Panthers like FloridaHockeyNow.com. Come and check us out. We've got 3 stories up today. Yesterday I think we had 6 stories, Big O. I mean, we had a lot going on yesterday with Anton Lundell and everything. So the only place that covers the Florida Panthers every single day, FloridaHockeyNow.com.
There you go. And the only place where you're going to get Panther segments every week is right here.
Right here on the
Big O
Big
Radio
O Show.
That's right. Lenny Locksmith Lockdown Panther segment. Yeah, baby. George, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up next week, my friend. Enjoy the hockey.
All right. Good talking to you, my man. Be good.
Thank you. There you go. The great George Richards. And Lenny the Locksmith, by the way, is a 24-hour service. Okay? So if you're locked out of your car, locked out of your home, call him 561-284-5090. That's 561-284-5090. All kinds of lockouts. If you're locked out of your home, if you're locked out of your business, you name it, residential, commercial locksmith, they take care of it. You lose your keys, you call Lenny the Locksmith. Lenny Locksmith, LennyLocksmith.com is the website. Check it out. 561-284-5090. That's 561-284-5090 for LennyLocksmith.com. All right. Brett says Panthers built for the playoffs. I hope so. I hope so. I think they're going to have an awesome run, a deep run. I think they can win it all, actually. And this is what means more to me as a fan is that they have a super deep run, hopefully win it all, but then finally win a lot of you over. And then you start to trust the team and you start to get into it and you start to get excited. There is nothing better than live hockey. Nothing. And playoff hockey is the best. And I want our town to get drunk on playoff hockey because I want Panther fans that haven't really experienced it, didn't experience the 90s, are not really on the bandwagon or kind of on the fence or whatever. I want those folks to watch and get on board and get excited about it because once they watch the potential of this team, the explosiveness of their offense. Hey, we're Americans, man. We love scoring, right? We hate these 0-0 games in soccer, right? I mean, not me, but, in general. Well, you're not getting much of that with the Panthers. You're going to get a lot of goals, a lot of excitement, a lot of speed, a physical team. They don't take crap from anybody. They are so likable in every way, shape, and form. So I'm really happy that they're this good, and I'm going to be really happy if they make a deep run because it's finally going to connect with the audience. And then that arena deserves to be packed. Those players deserve an arena that you can't find a seat. And I swear to you, we should have a couple of thousand standing outside the arena watching the game on a big screen. We should have our own, whatever, Jurassic Park or whatever the hell you want to call it there, Panther Pen or something. I don't know what they want to call it, but we should have a Panther Pen outside. That's how crazy it should be for this team. Should be like that for the Heat also. They deserve it. So let's hope we get a deep run, man. By the way, the Patriots released Kyle Van Noy. They wanted to create more cap space, $5 million. So are Flo and the Steelers going to call Kyle Van Noy? Just wondering. right? I mean, Kyle Van Noy and Brian Flores get along so well. I was thinking about this. Brian Flores and Aaron Rodgers are two guys that are, they really know about human chemistry. They really know how to connect with people. You know what I'm saying? They've got that gift. Kyle Van Noy, I'm sure now, Miami didn't want you. The Patriots haven't wanted you twice now. Belichick only took you because he didn't have to pay you a lot of money. And even that now, he still doesn't want to pay you a lot of money to keep you around. Kyle Van Noy, I'm sure, has an opinion on it. Has he shared that opinion on Twitter so far? So will we see a reunion of Kyle Van Noy and Brian Flores in Pittsburgh? That is the question. Oh, Lordy. I love it. All right. So we are pretty much done. We got to thank Cameron Wolfe, Manny Navarro, Omar Kelly, George Richards, and, of course, Sean Stanley, who masters this program every single day and does an excellent job as always. Appreciate him. Thank all of you for tuning in. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button before you leave. It gets the algorithms going. It helps the show immensely. So please, please, please smash the like button. We really appreciate it. That will help out the show. Visit our incredible sponsors as always. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Remember, we're a little early tomorrow at 8:45. We'll be on 9 to 10. Will be the Sloman's Inside the Paint Show. At 10:10, it'll be Ian Rappaport and our Sloman's Look Around the NFL. Debut tomorrow for Ian Rappaport, baby. Love it. All right, we'll have some fun there. We will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one. Love you all.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O